Get ready, because it's time for Geek Bombast, the weekly podcast dedicated to bring you news and general discussion on comics, movies, TV, video games, and anything else deemed totally awesome. On the show this week is Nick Budd, Michael Riojas, and myself, John Sitton. It's time for the best of 2018 episode, the first episode that we've recorded in the year 2019.
Yeah, well,
we have to wait. We have to wait until the very end of 2018 because something could always come out right at the very end.
This is the argument that I always have with my friends. They're like, "No, we should just do it before, and just get it over with."
And then you start the 2019 fresh. It's like no. There could be something on December 31st,
true,
2018 that could happen, that could come out that changes the game.
It's true.
Sometimes it's just not watching something that was out for like maybe a week just before it ended.
Right.
Shit, one of my things on here I didn't even consume media-wise until like 2 days ago. So.
Yeah, it's one of them is similar. I didn't see it until like the 30th of the year. I was like, man, this is one of my best of 2018, but it's like the fucking 30th.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so we don't have any news items this week. I decided to forego news. Plus, beginning of the year, there's not really a whole lot of news, truthfully. So sorry.
In the news, I had a pizza today.
Go watch Young Justice. There's your news.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. I am so upset with myself because I missed out on that DC Universe discount for Christmas holiday.
$60.
Yeah, for $59 or $56 or something like that for an entire year.
Oh damn!
I knew about it. I saw it and I was like, I'm going to totally do it. I'm going to check with Amanda and totally like sign up for it, and I'm going to totally do it. Make sure it's in the finances and everything, and then I never brought it up. And then literally January 2nd, I went on there to look for it, and it was back to the 7-day free trial. And I was like, son of a bitch! 7-day free trial and $79 whatever
I'd signed
for
up
the
previous
year.
to that, and I was like, whatever.
I was like, son of a bitch. So I haven't signed up yet. I think I might sign up as we get closer to the release of Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
So...
at this point, $8 isn't killing me, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I might sign up for the yearly thing within the next couple of days.
I just like that they're releasing 3 episodes of Young Justice every Friday.
Yeah.
As opposed to just 1.
Yeah, I've actually, outside of like the first like 4 or 5 episodes of Young Justice, I've never watched that show.
Oh.
Because I remember not really caring for it. The first couple episodes.
Yeah.
Because
you watched like the movie probably, and then
it was like the first episode part, and then like I got to the one where they all got different costumes to go fight on an island.
Yeah.
And the entire time my head is just going, this is the most toyetic thing I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. This episode is designed just to sell fucking toys.
You know, the funny thing is, those toys did not sell.
Yeah.
They didn't sell at all.
No.
They didn't sell at all.
They were good.
Yeah.
They were very good.
Women loved them though. And the execs were like, women.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things where it was just like, well...
I remember not liking Superman's voice. That was the thing that rubbed me the wrong way from the get-go.
Who'd they get to do Superman?
I think it's Nolan North, if I remember correctly.
Was it?
Because he also does Superboy. So they got the same person do both.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember going, I'm not a fan of this voice. And then that was like, for some reason, the reason I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
For at least for a little bit. I kept going back every now and then because I'm like, this Green Arrow, I like this guy.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Greg Weisman, who writes and directs.
Well, everyone who I talked to, like even people who like had the same issues with the show that I did with those first like 3 or 4 episodes, they are all like, no, you need to go back because it literally after about episode 6, it gets good and exponentially good from there on out. And so I'm like, well, shit. I guess if I do end up signing up for DC Universe, I'm just gonna binge all of that. And then
totally should.
Yeah, I remember it came out on Netflix, and I was like, I'll watch this, and I just never did. And I felt so bad.
I just have it on rotation at the store, honestly.
Understand. No, it's totally understandable. But yeah, other than that, just how's everyone's Christmas and New Year been?
It was good.
It wasn't too bad. I got a Back to the Future Mr. Fusion car charger thing.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
It's cool. It takes up a cup holder is my only issue with it. But other than that, it's really cool. And I also got an NES Classic.
Oh, nice.
Those are fun.
Yeah, I already had an SNES Classic, but I got a Neo Geo Mini.
Badass.
Which I don't know if you've seen what the Neo Geo Minis are.
They're the little.
They're essentially the same thing as an NES Classic,
Yeah.
except for Neo Geo. But the thing is, Neo Geos are arcade machines, so it's a tiny arcade machine that has its own screen. that you can literally just play one player, but it also has HDMI out
So
to
you
hook it up to the TV. It also, if you doesn't come with it, but you can buy it separately. You can get controllers that you can plug into it, and play on it as well. And
Wait, so do you have to use the tiny arcade controls when it's on the HDMI?
if you don't have the controllers, yes.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
The
I will
craziest
say
way.
I did buy the
Can you get frustrated and then just get
because I got like a
Yeah,
$50 Amazon gift card, so I went ahead and bought 2 controllers.
Oh, badass.
And they're weird because like the D-pad is not a D-pad; it's an analog stick, but designed to look like a D-pad. And it's hard to explain, but it's feels weird to control because it's a thumb thing, but it's like it's just.
But it breaks your brain.
It's weird.
Like I said,
it's
the actual Neo Geo, some Neo Geos were like that, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
My friend had a Neo Geo Mini, and it was a lot like that.
Yeah. But
They're strange, yeah. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
They're freaking weird.
But
especially for fighting games. Oh, God.
Yeah. It's weird for fighting games, which is what a lot of those games are. But yeah, I got one of those, and I got a TV series that no one has ever heard of, except for me, because that's kind of a trend. That as a family member bought off my Amazon wish list, which was a show called Deadly Games. Had Christopher Lloyd as the villainous character, but it's a show about a guy who is a quantum physicist, but in his spare time he dabbles with video game making, and he is making a video game that is his way of working out his own issues, like his wife divorced him, and so like the main character is based on him, and there's a damsel that's always in distress, which is based off of his ex-wife, and she's always getting kidnapped, and he has to go save her, and all the villains, all the level bosses are based off of adversaries of his, like the jock in college or in high school that used to pick on him all the time, and the divorce lawyer of his wife's divorce lawyer, and other characters. And through an experiment, the video game characters come out of the game, like non-intentionally, like the experiment goes wrong, it causes the game characters, but he has to use video game logic to defeat all of them. It's the stupidest, most fucking garbage show I've ever seen in my entire life, but I love it.
When did this come out is a good question.
It was a launch net show for UPN when it first came out.
I have to watch part of this in some way.
I've got it on DVD now.
That time frame can go either way with how garbage it is.
It's bad, but it's got Christopher Lloyd as the villain, as a villain known as the Jackal, and he's like this white suit, and he's just totally playing up the villainy. Totally, his whole point is to wipe out all of humanity, like just because.
Roger Rabbit style.
He's not. I mean, he's not doing that, but he's doing a little bit of that as well. Yeah. But it's so like he makes it, in my opinion. Like
the ads were like, "We got Christopher Lloyd like as hard as it could."
Yeah, but it literally he's the best thing in it. And I've watched like 2 or 3 episodes from the DVD set since Christmas, and it's bad. It's like I knew it was bad going into it, but I also remember liking it because of how bad it was. And it's like, whew.
So it's that bad. Garbage, good, bad kind of
bad
thing.
TV, bad movie, but it's this level.
Well, it's writing with a very minuscule knowledge of video games, even for the time.
That's even better.
Because when he's playing when in the first episode when he's playing the video game footage is all live action. Like it's like it looks like a FMV scene, but it's not. That's him playing the game. Just the graphics look that good.
Oh my god, that's even better.
But no one even questions it, which is hilarious. But it does have like some ingenuity thing. Like he creates the villain in the first episode is a jock, and so that character's weakness is water. So the only way to kill him is to kill him with water, like spraying it on him in some way. So they're always carrying around like super soakers and things to try to.
My favorite thing about that sentence is that you made it sound like it's the obvious thing to defeat a jock, and I can't almost for my life figure out why.
What's funny is he says, like the ex-wife even like brings it up at one point, like, why does that make sense? And he's like, oh well, because, and then actually like says why it makes sense in his mind, and it's like that still doesn't make sense, but whatever. Let's keep going. Let's move on.
Because of course that's how you beat a jock, is with water.
Yeah.
Or Gatorade.
Yeah, but it's stupid and it's kind of great at the same time, and I have it on DVD now, and that's kind of been my thing. Is like I even got what is it? A show that was a total ripoff of Briscoe County Jr., also from the UPN network, from when it first launched.
Man, UPN loved weird shit.
Called Legend, which was Richard Dean Anderson.
I do know that one.
Yeah, I got that on DVD too.
Jesus Christ. I forgot it existed.
Totally a ripoff, a really bad ripoff of Briscoe County Jr. But it like Deadly Games, it only lasted one season.
Who could have saw that coming?
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Now all I need is Nowhere Man and Shasta McNasty to complete my UPN my UPN launch TV
I
show
haven't
collection.
heard that name in a long fucking time. Shit.
But I had a pretty decent Christmas, and then on the first I went to the mall to get Amanda something on the first, and the Lego store at the mall had released all their new collections, and I bought a bunch of Overwatch Lego.
I've been seeing those.
Yeah,
I'm very jealous. Very, very jealous.
The only one that's really tempted me is the Bastion one.
Yeah, that one I want too, but it was I went for the three least expensive ones.
No, I mean the Bastion has like a light up eye. It's like $50,
yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah, it's like I've got the Reinhardt with Diva, which I'm currently in the middle of building Diva, and then I've got Diva's mech.
Yeah.
And then I bought like the Tracer and Widowmaker with the payload from the space level.
Yeah.
Not the outer space level, but the level where the payload looks like a little rocket ship.
Yeah.
And then I got the other set that has
is it Reaper?
It's Reaper, Soldier 76, and McCree with the payload from the Dorado, yeah.
Does it come with a phrase that says "Get on the goddamn payload"?
I don't know, but I tweeted out.
No, you have to make that yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I tweeted out when I bought that thing was like, now I can finally realize my dream of seeing what it looks like when everyone is on the goddamn payload.
I need healing.
I love Overwatch. I haven't played it in forever. I haven't even played any of.
I still play it every now and then.
I mean, I should. I haven't even played the new character Ash.
Yeah. No, she's interesting because she has a second person running around with her.
Yeah, it's the robot.
Yeah, the robot Bob.
Or Bob. I couldn't remember the name.
With a rad little hat.
The
bowler hat of his.
Yeah, and then they have the Bastion, which is a fully transform. Like when you build it fully is able to transform without taking the. Yeah, which I think is the most impressive thing.
Yes.
And then the last set is the largest set they have, which is from the same level as the payload level for the shuttle with Reaper, except it's the actual full spaceship.
Oh shit!
That's at the very end where you are supposed to get the payload too. There's a giant space shuttle there, and it has like Mercy, Farah, Winston, and another Reaper. Reaper gets to be in two sets for some reason.
He's the villain. You have to have him in there.
Yeah, but I'm just like, there's more villains that. Give me Moira. Give me.
He's the hot topic bro, though, so you need him.
Yeah, give me a fucking Doomfist. Give me somebody Roadhog. I don't know.
They can't make those Legos round enough.
Yeah.
So I want to see what a Lego Doomfist looks like.
Yeah.
Just a Terry Crews that they repurposed.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I would too. Because I'd be curious why they have a Terry Crews Lego that I didn't know about this whole time.
But
secretly made it for a
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yes.
Yeah. Nice.
What about you, Nick?
Oh, I got a lot of just random stuff that like actual usable like wallets and shirts and kind of boring stuff. The only thing I got
sounds nice though.
Yeah, I mean no, it was all stuff that I was like, I need these things. Yeah. So I think the one extravagance that I got was like a 3D pin. Oh, so nice. I can actually like build random stuff. Oh, cool. So I got to play around with that a little bit a couple days ago, and it was fun. I mean, of course, it looks like crap because it's the first time I'm using it, and I'm like, I can get better than this.
Yeah.
So it just makes me want a 3D printer now, and I'm like,
oh man, I need a 3D printer so bad. Trust me, if this podcast were ever to become profitable, and one of the first things I would buy as an expense for Geek Bombast would be like a 3D printer.
It's time to download that car.
What would we print?
I would print out stuff.
Just all the stuffs.
Just make your own Overwatch Legos.
It's true.
Pretty much.
Make your own Doomfist with blackjack and hookers.
But yeah, no, I don't know what I'd print exactly, but like there's a lot of fabricating of stuff I would do for like puppet making and prop making and things like that would then be used in videos. Like I would actually use it for the YouTube's channel thing.
I would just print out action figure stuff. That's all I would do.
It'd be hard not to.
I know.
That's what I would mostly use one
for.
Oh,
no, I found places that actually, like, there's where you can actually buy the whatever the files that they're called for certain action figures.
Oh.
Where you can actually buy, like, it's a completely original thing, and they allow you to 3D print them, and they have, like, the thing where you can 3D print each part individually and how to put them together and everything. And
That's awesome.
I'm down for that. Let's do that. Let's do it. Kind of thing, but
that does sound pretty cool.
I do want a 3D printer.
Yes.
When I was in high school,
on my list.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was in a class where we had to we had like those toy wooden trains.
Yeah.
We had to measure the dimensions and then print it out and then bake it with what we printed. And I fucked up the dimensions, and so it wouldn't fit in the holes. And I was like, God damn it! And so I had to like jam it in there to get it to look good before my teacher noticed. I got him in there, luckily, but he was like, "It looks great." I'm like, "Yeah," because it looked great. Didn't work with the damn, but it looked fine. He was because he had to like show it off by rolling it, and so I just like shoved it as hard as I could to make it look like it moved.
There you go, make it work.
Yeah. Luckily we distracted him long enough to get a B on it, but I have it somewhere. I really like the idea of 3D printers. My friend made a Moonanite that he made in that class, that way, about like yay big.
Yeah.
The audience can't see it, but it's like finger thumb size, I guess. I don't know. It was really cool. And that was like when I was like 16, 17, so it was like 10 years ago.
You had a 3D printer in your school?
Yeah, it was an engineering course.
Oh.
It was the very first year. No one knew what they were doing, including the teacher. So it was just a lot of us fucking around.
Oh, okay. All right.
With all the new equipment.
I don't think I was ever lucky enough for that to happen.
Yeah. No, my school, it was just shop class was the best you could hope for.
The thing was, right after that, all of the other people got like scholarships and shit for it because then they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But our years, we didn't know. We had no idea. I was
still learning.
I was playing ROMs like 80% of the time.
I did that in my. I had a computer maintenance course in a class, and literally, it was like I did it in my sophomore year or junior year, so junior, whatever the second year of high school is.
I invented a folding table though. It didn't work worth a damn, but I invented it.
But I had a computer maintenance, and I got bored, so I basically downloaded an emulator and put like a couple of games, specifically the one of the Dragon Ball Z SNES games. It's the one with the cards, where you get like cards.
Oh, Legend of the Super Saiyajin.
Yeah, I actually own that game on cartridge as well.
Oh, badass!
But
that one's really fun because you can survive the Saiyan saga with certain people. Like you don't have to do it the way the story plays out.
Oh yeah, no.
So Tien survived the Saiyan saga in my playthrough.
Yeah, no, you can totally like grind and like make everyone super overpowered just in the opening part of the game.
It's pretty great,
and just totally dick cheese that game. But so I would play that when we get bored, and I hid the files because I knew the teacher would make sure that we didn't install anything that we weren't supposed to. So I hid the files. It was funny because what was it? My senior year, I was talking to a friend who had just taken that class, and he goes, "Yeah, and on this computer, I found an emulator that had like this weird Japanese Dragon Ball Z game." And I was like, "I put that there." It's like 3 years later, and it's still there. That's awesome. I figured she would have formatted and wiped those computers by now. They're probably still running Windows 95 on them.
I would imagine.
Probably, actually. They don't have budgets.
Yeah, but yeah, I was always that's the most I got to do in high school. But
I was supposed to be able to do more, but like I said, first year, no one fucking knew what was going on. This is what my favorite story about it. We had this thing called Inventor or something, where you can make things and make it look like whatever material you want. Kryptonite was one of the materials.
Oh, nice.
And I made a bathtub. And I got into an argument with somebody on how you could trick Superman into taking a bath in a kryptonite bathtub to kill him. And this went on for like an hour. High school was very fun for me. At least for that year.
Yeah, the only problem is you can't lead line that bathtub because that's not up to code.
That was the thing, that was one of the arguments, is like, could we lead line it long enough for him not to notice? And the problem was probably not, because it was such a thick bathtub. it's fucking great.
But that's like I said, since there's no news, figure we might as well BS a little bit about New Year.
The news is kryptonite bathtubs are coming to you.
Yeah, it's a new business you're gonna start up.
It's
gonna
how
that goes.
It's gonna be right next to Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina rocks or whatever the fuck they are.
Oh, those.
It's gonna be the magical healing of low level radiation.
Jesus.
Ask Lex Luthor how that worked out for him in his hand.
And he lost like 30 pounds that way.
Oh yeah.
All in the span of a few years or two, give or take.
Jesus. So this episode is, like I said earlier, is going to be our best of episode. We're about to go through different categories. We're going to talk about our best of, and I do want to preface this with, these are our opinions.
Yes.
They are not going to be all encompassing. Some of you may disagree with us.
And you're wrong. I'm kidding.
Some of you may disagree with us, and that's perfectly fine. Some of you may get upset that we don't mention certain books or certain movies or certain video games or whatever. Hey, it's cool. You're allowed to like what you like. This is just our opinion. We may not even all agree on the same thing with each other.
That's true.
And that's perfectly fine. This is just our personal opinion. So, hey, we hope that maybe you didn't know about the thing that we talk about, and you're like, oh shit, I should go check that out. And that's and then hopefully you go do that and you watch it and you're like, hey, I do like that thing or whatever.
I've looked at plenty of best of lists and I'm like, why are you liking this? Maybe I should go look at that. Maybe I should read
there's
that.
Been a few where I've looked at things and I'm like, why the fuck is that on the list? That's garbage.
I mean, there's that too.
That'll pop up a lot, actually.
Yeah, and so I'm expecting people to say that about us. So that's fine. That's cool, man. And you know what?
But if they call something we like garbage, they have to give us their list. So we
well, and that's what I was going to say. Like, if you don't agree with what we're saying, as we read the categories and read off and talk and discuss and why we picked them and everything, make your own list. And then go on the YouTube video and post it on there, or go on the Facebook post for this, or tweet at us on Twitter. Any of those things. I'll talk about where you can find all that stuff later in the episode, and you can do that. But totally share with us your best of for 2018. So let's start off. We're gonna do comic books last.
Sure.
We're not last, but towards the end. We're gonna start with the non-comic mediums.
Okay.
So I figure let's start with the video games. We all play video games.
It's true.
We do like video games. I'll be honest. This one, I have two answers. They're kind of I say they're tied because one I recognize as being a better game, but the other one because I really like it more. And I'm like the entire time, like in front of me on the list that I have in front of me, they're not in the order that I would have put them in, but they're still but they're the top two. I'm kind of going back and forth. So I want to actually hear your choices for what the best one is. We'll go with
mine is not sexy because I haven't played a ton of video games this year, so life got in the way. But I did make time for my favorite, which was Spider-Man. I mean, it's just one of those games that I had a blast with. I haven't played any DLC, so I guess I can't say I've completed the game yet.
You've completed the main story.
Yes.
The DLC is a side story.
Yeah, it's kind of its own thing that takes place.
Honestly, like I've played all the DLC. I've gotten
here.
all of the suits. I feel like the ending is probably the most lackluster part of the entire thing.
Of the DLC?
Yeah, and they're kind of short, at least story-wise.
Yeah. I felt like, it's weird, I felt like the first one had a decent amount of story and content, and then I feel like the second one didn't. Like, it was just busy work, and like the story was like just super quick, and then the third one like had way more extra peripheral stuff. Like, they kind of went in reverse. Like, the first one had a lot of story and a decent amount of like peripheral like stuff, like go collect this and go find this or go fight these bosses. The second one kind of a little bit of no story and not even really a lot of like collectible stuff outside of it, or objectives, secondary objectives. And then the third one was a lot of secondary objectives and a little bit of story.
The game just to start with was just fun. I mean, that was kind of what made me want to play it. It was just fun to swing around New York City and look at things. And I mean, even though you couldn't interact with the Sanctum Sanctorum, you could take a picture in front of it. And that was pretty awesome. Or the Lockjaw statue. Yeah. I mean, the
Avengers Tower.
And plus
Foggy and Murdoch.
Nelson Murdoch's
like Jessica Jones as Alias Investigations. But also, just the story was fun. It was a great interpretation of Spider-Man. I didn't have some of the complaints that some people did about the voices. Like, I had some friends who were like, the person who did Peter Parker was awful.
Those people have not played Web of Shadows, is what I have to say to them.
Also, he's been the voice of Peter Parker in, like, not just that video game, but also, like, there was, like, one animated thing that he was also the voice of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
In. Like, this is not the first time he's played Peter Parker.
This is, like, maybe a second or third time?
I think it's his third.
Yeah, because he did it for a phone game.
Okay.
And then I don't know what the other one is.
Like, I want to say he did it in one of the animated things.
Yeah, most likely. And then this game, basically.
I like having Otto Octavius as his sort of mentor and, you know, kind of confidant and stuff. I thought that was a nice little change up.
My only issue with how they treated Otto is the fact that, like, not even midway, he might as well be like, look, Peter, I got a manual called How to Be a Supervillain. Yeah. And there's my supervillain shit over there. And then there's this over here. I'm like, God fucking come on, Ock. Are you serious right now?
Yeah. there were some, you know, had to take a few things with a grain of salt.
All I know is Peter doesn't, like, figure out things fast enough.
It's true.
Somewhat.
I feel like we, the viewers, have a little, because we know where it's going.
Yeah.
So we can see all the elements of it. But if you think about it as someone who didn't know that Otto Octavius becomes Dr. Octopus.
Well, there's plenty of, like, little recordings and stuff that if you, like, when you hit play on it, it's like, yeah, this is clearly, like, something's not right here, Peter.
Yeah.
And you're just like, but I got my job back. I'm like, Peter, I need you to pay attention right now.
But the incorporation of Miles Morales, and I actually like the Mary Jane stuff, too.
So. Oh, my God. I was invested as fuck with Mary Jane's thing.
It was a great relationship between the two of them.
Yeah.
And all the side stuff was fun. I just thought it was one of those games that made me want to play. And my wife was annoyed with me because I played it kind of constantly until I beat the game.
Let me tell you what happened the weekend I bought it. I stayed up till 4 a.m. the first time. And by the time I realized that I platinumed the game by the Sunday following.
Yeah.
And I had done nothing the entire weekend. I was supposed to get my oil changed. I was supposed to do my laundry. All of these things, and I did nothing.
Well, right now you're sitting in a Spider-Man hoodie. So,
yes, I mean, I almost wore a Spider-Man shirt today, but I was like, that's overkill. So I decided not to.
Yeah, I don't think I played it, you know, pretty obsessively, but then I kind of stopped playing it for like a week, and then my grandmother died, and then I was at home for like 3 days, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And literally, I was just like, well, I need something to do, so I'm just going to play this, and I literally played all the way to the ending of that game over the course of 2 days.
Yeah.
So.
The thing that I'll say about that game is it did something that I haven't been able to do in a long time. I used to play Spider-Man games that were open world.
Yeah.
To just sort of clear my head.
Yeah.
Like you could just literally just web swing around the city. Not really think about anything. Just enjoy the swing. Like basically, I get like it's kind of sounds kind of cheesy, but it's kind of what he would do essentially. It's just like I'm having a bad day. I'm just gonna web swing from this side of the city to the other side of the city,
right?
And just beat up some people on the way there, I guess. And I would do that constantly in some of these old games. But none of the games from like or a lot of games for a while kind of sucked at that.
Yeah,
I guess is the best way of putting it. Like the last one that came out was a tie-in to the second Andrew Garfield film.
Oh yeah.
And it was fine at first, but then when it came to like being able to swing around and do nothing, like that was not really there. Like you couldn't really do that without consequence, which was a pain in the fucking ass. But this game is just gorgeous. Everything like John has done this as well, which I just dick around with the photo mode.
Oh yeah, no, I am
all fucking
obsessed with that photo mode.
Like I have so many pictures of Spider-Man just doing dumb fucking shit.
Yeah,
or just
J.
weird
Jonah
shit
Jameson
I want.
would be so happy with how many photos of Spider-Man that I have.
Like yeah, I have a picture because there's also like these sticker faces.
Oh yeah,
I have a picture of there's an outfit you can get if you 100% the game or the main game, which is him in his underwear.
Yeah,
and I took a picture with with J. Jonas Jameson's face on it with that outfit, like him in the middle of a fucking park, like a middle of a school playground.
Yeah, my favorite.
I made it a Daily Bugle newspaper.
Oh, nice.
Because you can.
Yeah.
You can do dumb shit like that. And I love this game for doing that.
Well, yeah, the web swing is integral to the Spider-Man character, and they nailed it. Yeah. In the same way that the guys who did Batman and Arkham Asylum got Batman.
Yeah.
So.
But what's also, like the photo mode, I think is the thing that completely like encapsulated me, because I mean I'm a fan of games with photo modes. Like Mad Max, I was obsessed with taking photos and trying to make them look really beautiful and things like that, because there's some really pretty beautiful things in Mad Max, the game.
Yeah.
But for Spider-Man, like that photo mode is so good, and they added to it, like with the DLCs and subsequent updates. They added like stuff to the photo, like more stickers and more.
There's more frames,
more
everything. It's fucking great.
Yeah, and it's great. Like it's literally the most fun. Like I have fun just swinging around in that world and taking like ridiculous looking pictures. I still say my favorite picture, same costume that you have, but I took it so there's like these things where you're stopping crooks in a car, and then like when to stop the car, like there's one animation where he actually has the car and he's holding it up above his head.
Yep.
And I had the suit, which is literally just Spider-Man in a mask, and he's wearing boxer shorts. So he's nothing but boxer shorts and a Spider-Man mask. And he's holding this car up, and I put like this little emoji Spider-Man. It looks like he's worried, like a oh god Spider-Man, and positioned it right over the underwear, and then positioned it so that it essentially looks like it's covering his junk, and he's not actually wearing any. And literally, it's my banner on my Facebook page, because I fucking love that picture so much, because it's so great.
Thank God for the New Game Plus mode, by the way, because I started replaying it, and I'm trying to make fake covers for every boss I fight, and I have 2 or 3 of them now.
Nice.
And I'm so giddy to get to like
I will admit,
one.
I am very jealous of your ability to appropriately like take pictures like during action. And
it's so hard.
That's so hard.
The Shocker one took me forever.
Because like I will, and again, this is, people are probably gonna be like, ugh, they're talking about this nonstop. But like I've tried to make pictures where he's like doing an action, and then like I'll put in a sticker that's like POW, it says POW on it or something, and make it look really cool, and I'll be like, yeah, share that I'm really happy with that. And I'll be like, that's cool, that looks great, and then I look over, scrolling through Facebook, and I see one that he did that's like 10 times more intricate and more badass looking, and I'm just like,
they're so fucking hard to do. I will pause like continuously till I get one that I'm just like, that one. Or I'll fight a dude like over and over again just to be like, I'm gonna get that part where it looks like I'm punching him directly in the face, and then put the power right over it. That shit's impossible. By the way.
It's very hard.
There's one I can't get that somebody on Reddit did, which is when he does the swing, when he actually pulls his arm forward. That one is like nigh impossible to get, because you either pause it at the right moment or you just don't fucking get it. Period. Because it happens so rarely.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, just do it. And every time he does it, I'm like, oh, I should have paused right there.
I have so much trouble getting him pause with him still holding onto the web.
Yeah.
Or him even like holding on, like shooting out a web and then holding out, like letting go. So hard to get, because the timing is so precise with them.
People, you like just get it purely for that photo mode. I'm not fucking joking.
Yeah,
that photo mode will let you take a photo whenever anything's happening.
Yeah, like
one of my favorites was, there's a part where Mary Jane's being held hostage with a bunch of people, and somebody took a selfie. Did a selfie in the middle of that. I was like, awesome. I love this game's inability to just be like, this is a really serious moment, but you can take a selfie in it if you want to.
Yeah. Well, it was like, what was it? There was when I was playing it, literally, I was like, I wonder. Like because there's a section, the very first section where you take control of Mary Jane. Yeah. I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just took a selfie here. Like went in a photo mode and took totally looks like she's taking a selfie. Like there's like guards all behind her, and she's just like,
it's amazing, and like
all posed and everything. You can
put stickers. Like I did one not that long ago where I put like stickers all over it, like in the middle of it. I was like, I can't wait to just like do shit like that later on for some of the other stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I have been playing that game obsessively until the end of the DLC, and then I'm debating on doing a new plus mode, But
I wanted to get all the costumes before I did it.
Yeah.
I can have as many pictures as possible.
Yeah. Because I've got all the costumes as well. But I was like, I kind of. But I also. That game came out, and I've talked about this in other places, and then someone got pissed off at me because I gave a spoiler.
So you're talking about the way it ends.
There's a thing in the end that really kind of hit me in a way that was probably, I'll admit I cried, hit me in a way that I was not really prepared for, and I don't know if I can replay it because I know that's coming.
Oh, that's the reason I can't watch Coco anymore. Because I've told you that story when I watched Coco. It's almost the same kind of situation.
I'm going to try to play it, but I'm going to wait a little bit because I really want to get back into this. I want to, because I feel like once you beat the game, there's little whatever, but it's not really. It's kind of. I want to take more pictures and actually go through, stuff, and I want to do more stuff with that. But yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my top, period. It's such a good fucking game. I just keep playing it, and I'm like, oh, I got another game. I'm gonna play Spider-Man more.
Yeah.
I keep doing. When I bought Smash Brothers, I played it for a week, and then I was like, I'm gonna play some Spider-Man real quick.
Oh yeah, no, I did the exact same thing.
And then I didn't go back for a while.
So what's your best video game of 2018?
This
Michael?
will show just how much I love this specific property, which is Dragon Ball FighterZ, which came out in January, of all things.
Yeah, I got in just under the wire.
Which is fucking crazy to me that January became a time where people were just like, here's a game, but they're actually really good. Because there's another one in there that came out that same month. But the reason I picked Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best Dragon Ball fighting game, hands down. Because it's an actual fighting game for one.
Well, it's by the same people who made Guilty Gear.
Yes, and they also made a 3DS Dragon Ball fighting game as well before this point. Which is, I feel like, was their test run, which is also a pretty fine game. Extreme Butoden, I think is how it's said.
Okay.
Which I played the shit out of when they came out with that. But this one, oh my god. It's got a story mode that has a lot of fun little sequences that are just a whole bunch of Easter eggs for fans, as well as a lot of really good things that poke fun at people, especially Yamcha. Poor fucking Yamcha. I love Yamcha. But there's so many great characters, moments. Every attack is based on something, period. There's nothing in that game that isn't done deliberately. The dramatic finishes are fucking amazing, especially when you can get them in the middle of a fight. They came out with more characters, many of them being more Gokus. But I didn't fucking care because I fucking love Goku. Because now I have a team of Gokus, and I don't care. There's rumors they're going to come out with more DLC, which will be more Gokus, probably.
Yeah, because aren't there 6 different versions of Goku in that game
I want them to change the name of the title to just Oops, All Gokus. Because that's pretty much how I play the game.
Now I suddenly want to find a box of Crunch Berries, Oops, All Berries, and then Photoshop it with Goku's face, on all the berries, and then on the Captain Crunch, and it just says Oops, All Gokus.
I want that so bad because that's pretty much what that was a complaint that some people were having. But I was like, I don't care. Put more Gokus in there. I want an Ultra Instinct Goku. I want a Kid Goku. I want a fucking Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I want a Kaioken. Oh, actually, I got the Kaioken Goku. Hell, I want a fucking Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Fuck it. I don't care. Give me as many Gokus as you possibly can.
Nice.
But it's a great game. It's a fantastic fighting game. Legitimately, it's all around one of the best fighting games ever.
Yeah. And also, Arc System Works, the people who make the game, they are, I feel like, the only video game company who has figured out how to make a game in a 3D engine and make it look like it's 2D cell animated. You look at these things, and this goes for Dragon Ball Super as well, or Dragon Ball's Fighters as well, is that you look at it and there are moments where you're can't tell if you're watching something that's hand animated or if it's actual 3D.
Some of the stuff they do to pull it off is amazing, because some people made some mods, because there's certain supers that will the camera will change to make it more dramatic, and there's some mods where it won't do that, so you'll see the weird shit that the system has to do to make it really dramatic. My favorite is the father-son Kamehameha, because what it does is that Gohan does the Kamehameha with one hand, but the way it is that The way the camera angle moves is it doesn't show this, but when he puts his hand back, his hand gets fucking ginormous, and then goes back down and then fires the Kamamaha because it's supposed to be this like really dramatic camera angle, but without it, it looks really funny. But there's plenty of stuff like that within other people's supers where it's like, yeah, that looks really weird without the camera angles, but that shows how much work went into making this one sequence look amazing.
Yeah. And
they do that with everything. I mean, like it's amazing just how, like, there's the people who made this game loved this thing, and I'm glad for it.
Yeah.
Also, by default, it's in Japanese. Yeah. Fuck you, dubbers. I'm just kidding. I don't care. I actually like the dub, but I like Japanese Goku more.
I surprisingly have met and know quite a few of the voice actors for the English dub, so I have no issues with it.
It's not a bad dub.
It's not. It's better than the original dub. The original
one with the
Saban.
tiger noises and
was
shit.
Was that Saban that did that?
Or was I think part of it was.
And then Funimation got it from Saban.
My favorite is the Goku Vegeta fight, because there's a lot of moments where every time they punch, it makes this weird like pow, and so it cuts away from the actual hit. And so it is Kaioken times 3. For some reason, they added panther noises to it. It's fucking funny as shit, but I love it. Yeah. Ocean's dub. It's really fucking weird, but I love it.
Yeah, it's...
Plus, the guy who did Goku in the Ocean's dub does Ralph in Ed, Edd n Eddy. And people like to make that joke a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I also was going to say Spider-Man. I'll be honest. I will be honest with you. The other game that I will mention, because I do think it is a great game, Red Dead Redemption 2, I feel like it's a really good game.
It's really good.
I'm gonna be honest. I have not beat it yet, and I can honestly say it's probably my pretty up there, tied with Game of the Year kind of thing. Like I haven't beaten it yet. I'm still playing it, but I'm like a shit ton of hours into it.
So I love the game, but I have so many issues with it. So it's not.
I do have like
reasons it's not my top.
That's actually like I have a lot like my. So I love the game a lot. Like I love everything about it. My issues, and this is the weird thing, it's kind of the opposite with Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man for not only the grand story, but the details, like the small little details, and that's kind of where Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of falls apart. Is with the minor details.
There's too many minor details.
Yeah. Well, it's like because.
Also, its control scheme is a pain in the ass.
Well, yeah.
So many of the people I work with actually hate the control scheme with passion.
Well, it's because they put certain buttons near each other, which really shouldn't be near each other.
I robbed so many people on accident.
I've shot so many people on accident.
Yeah.
When all I was trying to do was whoa my horse to slow it down, and instead I shot a guy point blank in the face who was just standing there. And I was like, well, I've got a bounty.
This will happen a lot, by the way, people.
Oh, there's people who try to get on their horse, but instead of getting on their horse, they punch the horse in the face.
Those are pretty great, too. I never did that,
I've had
luckily.
a few things like that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but it's not just that. Like, I think, like, some issues, like, I'll be playing the game, because I play these characters, both I did with John Marston in the first game and this one. I kind of play them where, yes, they are bad guys. They are criminals. They will murder people if they have to. But I kind of play it with a moral system of, I don't just go around randomly killing people. Like, that's not the character I'm playing. I typically will only kill someone if it's in service of getting away with a robbery, or if it's in defense. Like, if someone pulls a gun on me and shoots me, or shoots at me, I'm going to fucking murder them dead. Like, or if someone pushes me and is like, what the fuck's your problem? You'd be like, I'd fucking shoot you in the face.
I treat it the way Zangief does in Wreck-It Ralph. Because I use Zangief. You don't have to be... You can be a bad guy, but you don't have to be bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it really bothers me when it's like, I haven't killed anyone, like, innocent.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even killed a cop for, like, hours upon hours of playing this game. I haven't killed any animals outside of specifically hunting for food for the camp.
Yeah.
And then, like, the character will sit down and he's like, well, I've just been murdering all these innocent people and killing all these animals for no goddamn reason, and I don't know why. And it's like, no, I haven't.
The game treats your choices like they're not actually happening.
Yeah.
Like they're constantly going, we need money, but you're walking around like with $4,000 from all hunting.
Yeah, like literally, it's like, yeah, we need money, and I'm like, I literally have $4,000.
It's like we can go to Tahiti right now if you want to, Dutch. I'm cool with
like,
that.
I don't really want to share it with the group, but I'll share it with the group. We just robbed like 3 banks and got like a couple thousand each.
I love all the memes though that have happened because of the things Dutch says over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is the I have a plan and have some goddamn faith.
Well, what's funny is those are actually the 2 lines from the first Red Dead Redemption when Marston is hunting him down. He's like, don't worry, John, I got a plan. You just got to have a little faith. And then he jumps off the edge of a cliff. Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 1.
That was an argument I was having with somebody because I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I like the ending. I think it makes Red Dead Redemption 1 a better game. And he's like, spoilers. I'm like, look, dude, it's a prequel. We all know Anakin turns into Darth Vader by the end of the fucking thing. Shut up.
What the fuck are you talking about? He just what now? I haven't watched the prequels yet, man. But no, I haven't beaten it. Obviously, I know where it's going. I'm kind of at a point where I also feel like there's a point where it's kind of things are kind of going like okay, and then there's like a point in the game where it's just literally it's like the story kind of comes to a screeching halt.
Oh yeah,
which is chapter 5.
Yeah.
And then once you get out to chapter 6, it's like everything's fast paced to the end. Like it's like the chapters are like super condensed. It's like, oh, I didn't even know. I actually story jumped a sequence. Like there was like a side quest, like you go meet someone and like do like a side mission, like a stranger thing, like a thing with a stranger.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about too. Actually,
and I completed it. I was like, cool. And then I did another level where then it had a cutscene where I met the character that I did the complete, and it was like the first time I had met them.
I know exactly which part you're talking about. I think too.
Yeah, it's towards later, and it was just like.
I want to say it out loud because I remember when it happened, I was like, well, I guess that entire side mission was pointless because, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, well, either that side quest is pointless or I did that before I was supposed to.
Or I'm a time traveler.
Yeah, and there is a time traveler in the game.
I never met that dude, by
Neither
the way.
Neither did I.
I felt so bad because there's so many side missions that I never actually did. And one of them apparently is like really fucking weird.
Oh, there's a few that are weird, but yeah.
There's one specific one that I didn't do is like in the Louisiana-ish just area that ends kind of gross.
Which one?
I don't know if I should say because I guess it spoils it.
Oh.
Or it doesn't spoil like the story, but it spoils the side mission, I guess.
Oh.
But yeah, I found out about it like way afterwards, and I was just I'm kind of glad I didn't do that.
I probably did it in mine, but yeah, there's a few, like there's actually a few side missions. Like there was one, I can't remember what it was, but there was one that Amanda was watching me play, and she literally went, I'm not a huge fan of this game because it's bad people doing bad things, but that was extremely mean-spirited and not funny and kind of gross, and fuck this game. Like that was like Amanda's. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
it might be the one I'm thinking of then.
When I say gross, I don't mean like disgusting gross, but gross as in just like it's morally gross.
I kind of want to know which one it is.
And I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember which one it is. That's the problem. But
okay.
But
having so many of them though. So
I feel like outside of these complaints, though, like I have these complaints, but I do feel like it is a well put together game. Like it is an extremely well put together game. Like the controls, everything about it is really good, and like I continue to play it, and I continue to play it the way I'm playing it. Like you know,
it's a beautiful game.
I do, like I said, I feel like there are some small things that are a little immersion breaking. Some small details that they kind of like they vary. It's actually kind of funny. There's a YouTuber by the name of Nakey Jakey. I don't know if either of y'all are familiar.
No, couldn't say.
But Nakey Jakey he's actually become kind of one of those YouTubers I just recently discovered, and I just like went on his like watched like his entire YouTube, and he does some really good videos, and some of them are funny, some of them are not. But his analysis of Rockstar is pretty interesting. Like he actually talks about what the problem with Red Dead is, and he talks about the fact that Rockstar's big problem is that they want the thing that made Grand Theft Auto 3 and 4, great, 3, San Andreas, all those great. It was this, they had this open world where you could literally do anything. Yeah, there was a story, but they weren't like detrimental. Like they were good stories, but you didn't have to adhere to the story kind of thing. It was kind of do whatever you want. But then at some point, Rockstar decided they wanted a hardcore narrative structure, like a very like linear narrative story that you experience in this giant open world. And the problem is they don't want to limit that you can do anything. So they have this open world where you can do anything, except you can't do it unless it's the way that the game wants you to do it. Like there's a whole thing where he found out through the course of like he was doing something and he got turned around, and he had found out about a poker game that was going on in the back of a gun store. And he's like, what is this over here? He's like, who's this guy? And this guy's like, oh, this is a poker game going on. Only those allowed are in. I'm not. And he's like, oh, well, let me in. And he kind of like the dialogue tree stopped for it. Like he just didn't. And so then he was like, what if I kill this guy? And he killed the guy and then tried to get in the room. Couldn't get in the room. And he got pissed off. So he was like, well, maybe I have to go to the gun store and actually talk to him. Nothing about it. So then he walked around the town some more, and then he overhears someone say, hey, I heard there's a high-stakes poker game going on in the back of the gun store. And then he went to the guy, and then the dialogue options for the thing, like...
Oh, actually, I know which part that is.
Yeah, and it's like he didn't have the dialogue there either. Now that I'm remembering, he had to then go into a back room to find a door that was locked, and then for the character to go, I wonder what this door leads to. And then when he goes back and try to hold up the guy, then he's like, oh, I don't want to take you back there. And it's like, take me back there. And it's like you have to go through these hoops a very specific way to get the story content, but a lot of that is like he could have gotten to that story they don't want you to like I said, they want you to do it a very specific way, but they present it as, oh, these are giant open world games where you can do whatever you want. And it's like you either need to be... It's okay to have a large open world where you have a story-driven game, but there's too much... Like, it just doesn't work.
There's a lot of limitations to the openness, which is strange to say, but there's plenty of stuff like that. Where you'll just be like, oh, what's this? And it's like, well, you don't know what it is because you didn't hear NPC number 58, say, if I can say it, recently. It's like, well, what the fuck is the point of me seeing it over there then if I can't do anything about it?
Yeah. And, it's again, it sounds like I'm sitting here complaining about the game, and I do want to stress, like,
there's plenty of complaints I have about the game, personally.
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, this is kind of tied with Marvel Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man wins out a little bit more than I think about it, but it is kind of tied up there, and I do also kind of want to bring up some of the other games that I felt like at least were.
Oh, there was a lot of really good games this year.
Least worthy. Like I feel like, as much as I give David Cage shit, Detroit Become Human was a really, really fucking good game.
It is I think it's the perfected version of what he's been trying to do for this whole time.
Yeah. I still feel like Until Dawn is better. like that company that makes that game is kind of doing David Cage but better.
I could give you that.
But out of everything that David Cage has done at Quantum Dream, this game is probably like the best. Like, it's really, really good.
It's probably got the least amount of memes made out of it.
Well,
compared to Heavy Rain.
Well, it's like Heavy Rain and even Ellen Page Simulator. Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls. Yeah. That was a fun one.
Those all have like that one scene where it's just really awkward and very clear that who's writing this is not from America and doesn't understand how things work in America,
or a person, for that
or
matter.
how teenagers act, or like, oh yes, kids go to have, young teenage girls have parties where friends give them panties and they all laugh about it.
It's really fucking weird.
It's just like, what?
Yeah.
No, that's what the fuck. But no, Detroit Become Human, I feel like was really one of, and I feel like at the Game Awards in the best character Or the one that it was.
Oh yeah, there was
It was the one who won it was fucking the guy who did the voice of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead. But I really feel like the guy who
is like way more Irish than I anticipated.
Yeah. I really felt like Detroit Become Human's main character. I can't think of his name right now, but he's the cop. I really feel like that actor, fucking acted his ass off for that game in a way that it was like. Probably that character is probably the best character in a video game. Like, it's so good. And what's even great about that actor is that he started a Let's Play channel where he just plays games with his wife, which his wife apparently is also a voice actor, and she did a different voice in that game. Like, it was a smaller game or a smaller character, but she also did a voice of a character, and literally they just play video games and
I love when voice actors do that because sometimes they have a lot of fun with and sometimes they play games that they're in to fuck with people.
Yeah,
like the voice of I've heard this recently. The voice of McCree, for instance,
Matt Mercer.
He'll play Overwatch and just randomly go, "It's high noon" in the middle of a match to fuck with people.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, but
I'd do shit like that all day if I had that ability.
Yeah, I was gonna say another fighting game. You mentioned it earlier. Is Ultimate Smash Smash Brothers Ultimate lives up to the name as far as Smash Brothers. It is the Ultimate Smash Brothers
that
game.
I did not expect it to have a robust single player.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the middle of World of Light. I beat up everything in the first, and I didn't realize it was the first section.
Yeah,
I thought it was the only section.
Yeah, no.
And then that's why I beat up everything because I was like, I don't want this to last. But then once I finished it, I finished the first section this morning. I'm like, oh, there's a whole lot more to this than I anticipated.
Yeah, no, it's pretty in depth and exhausting. Like, I still haven't unlocked all the characters yet.
Like, I just got them like last week, and I spent 3 weeks doing that.
Yeah, and there's going to be DLC characters soon, so...
Yeah, which I'm excited to find out who the others are going to be.
Piranha Plant has already been announced.
Which is such a weird one, but fuck it.
One of the characters from Persona 5.
Yes.
Joker?
Yeah, which I laughed really hard because somebody messaged me, and they're like, Joker's going to be in it. And I was sat there for like a good 5 minutes trying to figure out if he meant DC Joker or somebody else.
Yeah. I know the rumors for one of the others is supposed to be a character from Dragon Quest.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
There's another rumor. One of the heroes from Dragon Quest.
The weird rumor is Doom Guy.
No, I don't think.
Which that's why I think it's weird because it's like it became this. It recently came out as a rumor. Yeah. It was him, but then there was one other one that I was like, I don't really see that happening either. There was a lot of characters that I was just like, this is total nonsense.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. Then there was the game that I probably played the most of out of any game, like aside from like Spider-Man, because I think I've honestly now played Spider-Man and Red Dead more than any other game, both of those games. But it was Into the Breach, which is a little indie game. It's now out on the Switch, and I fucking played the Switch version. Like, I played it on PC when it came out, but it's kind of this almost like tactical turn-based RPG. Where it's like you get like a little grid, and it's a small piece of grid that you can move across, and you fight enemies, and you get it's essentially Pacific Rim, the game almost. But the thing is that they can time travel. So like if you feel like you're not doing good on it, you can hit a button to reset it back to the thing, but it doesn't like reset really. It just it's a whole thing. It's a mechanic, but it feels like you're playing a game of really like high stakes chess. And it's really good, and I feel like it's on the Switch. It's great. If you have a Switch, you should totally be buying Into the Breach.
Absolutely. There's one other game, that I guess I mentioned, which is Monster Hunter World, which also came out in January.
I could not get into Monster Hunter World.
The thing about Monster Hunter World is it is the easy mode of Monster Hunter. And I mean that too, by the way. Like, if anyone wants to really play it, who wants to play Monster Hunter but doesn't want to get into the insanity that is Monster Hunter Generations. I don't know what the title is, Ultimate, I think.
Yeah, something like
that. For the Switch, which is also good, but you have to be used to the idea of getting your ass handed to you at first. But Monster Hunter World is it's the first Monster Hunter to be released on something that wasn't handheld in a long time. And it is gorgeous. It plays really well.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. It totally is.
A lot of people, and they're constantly doing events and adding new monsters to it constantly.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. Like, if you can get enough people to hunt with you, you can spend ages playing the game. and help people at my job. Like, there's a group of them that have their own hunting party that will every now and then they're like, we're gonna go hunt something, and I'm like, cool, I guess. And like, I always feel kind of bad because I'm like, man, I used to be those dudes, but now I don't have the time.
I never.
But Monster Hunter World's great though. If you really want to play Monster Hunter but you don't want to worry about weird mechanics like having to make rocks to sharpen your swords, this just has infinites of those things, and it makes everything a whole lot easier. So I recommend it 100%, to be honest.
Okay. So is that all for video games?
The Messenger, I thought was really good.
I really want to play that. I haven't played it. That's
for the
probably
Switch
why
as well.
it's not on my
It's really good.
list, because I haven't played it yet.
And the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty rad. If people want to know what Captain Commando came from,
Oh man, I love Captain Commando so much.
I fucking love him so much too, but I really wish he was in more things.
But let's move on to TV shows, which this is going to be one of those ones where I have some stuff written down here, but I don't know if I actually feel like they're the best things that have come out in TV. They're just the things that I consumed that I liked the most, because I did not watch a lot of TV shows this year.
I mean, I think that's the nature of these kinds of things. If they, work for you the best, I think that's what...
So, I think we'll go in reverse. I will start. I went with The Haunting of Hill House, which is Netflix show's spooky story show. I really like that show. It's probably one of the better things that I saw this season on TV. I feel like it's not the best. It's just the best thing that I watched personally.
Right.
Like there's, and I'll be honest, there's a lot of shows that I wish that I wanted to watch and I really wish I could keep up with. But it's just, unfortunately, TV shows are probably the thing that I have the hardest time keeping up with. Especially, now if they're stuff I can binge, but then it's now getting to a point where I don't watch them because, like, I really wanted to watch Sabrina. Teenage Witch, or the Chilling.
It did come out. Fuck, I hadn't seen it either.
And I really wanted to watch it, and we were all set to watch it, but just time hasn't. We don't have the time to sit down and watch, to even binge watch a show. So it's, hell, like one of the other things on here that I have is Castle Rock, but I haven't finished Castle Rock.
Yeah.
Like, I literally got to the episode that everyone talked about from Castle Rock.
Yep, into the episode you're talking about.
And that's all you have to say is the episode everyone's talking about, and everyone knows what you're talking about. And then I haven't watched another episode since. And that's not because I didn't want to. It's just never got back, didn't have time to go back to it. Yeah. And by the time I did, I was watching Haunting of Hill House. And by the time I was done with that, I was watching something else. And
that's the thing about having as many hobbies and loves that we do. We have comics, games,
movies, TV, video games.
Like, we have so many fucking things that it's just like, fuck, I don't have time.
Tabletop gaming, which is not even on this best of.
Yeah, it's like, if I was in the drugs, I would not have time for drugs, kind of thing. That's just what it is. It's just like, I barely have time for the obsessions I have now.
Yeah.
Let alone fucking, like, whole seasons worth of other television shows. But I was surprised how many shows I actually watched this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, Haunting of Hill House is great.
Yeah,
It's just instantly bingeable and creepy, great cast.
Yeah. I thought, and there's an episode where there's, like, literally in Haunting of Hill House, and again, it's, everyone knows what episode I say when I say there's that one episode. It looks like one long cut, and it's one long take, and it's literally, you, as someone who watches a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, I know it wasn't one long take.
Right.
It's very, I can see the edges there, but I had to look for them. Like, it took me a while to realize that it wasn't one long take, and even when the cut did happen, it was a pretty long take, and it's really well done. Those are always my favorite things in TV shows and movies, where it's one long take that's doing something, and it's effective. And then what you have to think about, how, like, there's that Jim Carrey show.
Yeah, that's actually on my list, actually.
Which has the video that's been going around about the one take about how this guy, about how his show changed this one woman's life around, and you kind of are seeing it's a montage sequence, but it's all one take.
Yeah.
And it's literally, they're filming it, and then, like, they have, like, a behind-the-scenes footage of them doing it. It's literally people, like, tearing down the set when the camera passes them, and then redressing it.
Yeah.
And then, like, her moving stuff around. It's like all this is going on at once, and it's
like
all
one room, too.
It's like, they didn't need to do this. There's a way to do this exact same shot digitally or with cuts and effects that gets the same point across, but they did it as one long take, and if one thing had gone wrong, they'd have to reset everything and go back to the beginning and do it again. And I'm sure they did, and that was just the one take that worked,
right.
Or the best take that they did. But it's just so crazy. I love those kind of scenes where filmmakers do that.
It's one of the reasons I like Birdman so much, is that it's that whole thing where it's kind of like one long sequence.
Yeah.
Even though it probably isn't, but it feels like it, and I love shit like that. Because, yeah, like you said, anything can go wrong during that time frame, and they have to do the whole fucking thing over again.
Yeah. But yeah, House on Haunted Hill is Haunting of Hill House. Not House on Haunted Hill. The House on Haunted Hill is my choice for best of the year. If Amanda were here, she would tell you hers is an anime called Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. Honda-san, because she fucking loves that show. I don't know if you've ever...
No, I've never heard of that
If
one.
you have Crunchyroll or Verve, I would definitely recommend watching it, because it's literally about a... so it's almost a slice of life thing where it's a retail, like a Japanese bookstore that sells mostly manga, and it's about this one retailer who just writes like little short stories about his experiences as a person who works in the bookstore. But because it's so slice of life, to spice it up, he draws himself as a skeleton. Like literally it's a skeleton wearing clothes, and like the logic of like when he's shocked, like the bottom jaw will fall off, and he'll have to reach down and pick it up and put it back. Like the logic is his character is a skeleton, and then like another character has like a motorcycle helmet on all the time, which he's like the tokusatsu style book, like each kind of themed to their department. Like one of them has like a knight's helmet on, and another one has like a Halloween mask, and some people have like one guy has a paper bag on his head. Other people just have like these like pieces of paper taped to their face, and it just says what position they run. And the only people who aren't like that are the customers, who look just like normal people. But it's crazy and ridiculous. But Amanda was like, working both at Rogues Gallery Comics and Games and also at bookstores, I've experienced every one of these things, and they're done to hilarious effect. It's great. I think the episodes are like 15 minutes a piece, and you get like 2 little bit stories.
That's cool.
So that would be Amanda's pick.
Badass. Well, I guess it's mine then.
Yeah. What's yours?
It's Barry, actually. It's a show on HBO about a hitman who goes to Los Angeles and accidentally joins an acting class because he was trying to kill a guy who was part of the acting class. He then decides he only wants to be an actor now instead. But the series of choices that he has to make, and that also has to be made for him throughout these 8 episodes, is both funny and one of the darkest things I've ever seen. And the best thing about the show is that all of the comedy elements have nothing to do with the hitman parts of it. Whenever it involves him like having to kill someone, there's no humor to it. Like it's just he fucking kills them and then that's it. Like there's very few jokes involving when he has to kill somebody or whenever somebody dies in it. Like it's really serious when that happens, but then it'll go to another sequence where somebody's doing an audition for a mother whose child fell into an ape pit and was raised by the apes for some fucking reason. Like shit like that. And it's just it's so much fun because Henry Winkler plays the acting teacher, and he's fucking fantastic in it. Stephen Root plays essentially Barry's handler, Barry's played by Bill Hader as well. And there's a lot of just really strange and surreal sequences. But overall, it's probably one of my favorite shows like I've seen in a long time. And they're only like half an hour as well. There's only 8 of them, all on HBO right now. I highly recommend it, 100%.
Okay.
Mine is Sabrina, so The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which again is probably not the greatest show on television, but I found it the most entertaining.
Yeah.
I love the main character; she's great. Just the whole thing, just the way it's shot, it's beautiful. I mean, I don't want to give anything away since you both haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So
does the Punisher show up at any point?
No, the Punisher does not show up. But, I mean, it's definitely based off of the Roberto Aguirre Sacasa take of the book that only had like 3 issues come out. Or maybe it was like 4 issues. It never even had a trade.
Yeah, I don't even think it was completed.
Yeah,
like it was kind of ended on a cliffhanger.
No, and I think that was well. I think that was partly because Robert Hack is kind of a slower artist, and then I think when he became sort of the head of like Archie Comics and things like that, his time kind of got eaten up, and then Riverdale happened, and then this happened.
Everything needs to be Riverdale.
And then now Archie's is doing that. Like they have the Jughead as a werewolf. Vampironica.
Yeah, Vampironica.
Where she's a vampire hunter / vampire or something, and then like they're now doing like all the it's like finish the chilling adventures of Sabrina the comic. Fuck.
But I'm actually okay with it because this feels like the best version of that. It's not as dark, but it definitely takes elements from it and utilizes it to its best effect. Like I said, it's funny but heartwarming. It's not what the old Sabrina was.
Oh, of course not.
But I love the supporting cast. They kind of just round out everything and make everything more relatable and not kidified. I love their take on Salem. Salem does not talk, which I thought was great. But it is definitely not your typical cat either. So, I don't know. There's just some quirks to it that really, really work. And I love that they did a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They dropped it, like, they did the full season, and then they dropped an episode, I think, on, like, the 14th or 15th
That's crazy.
of December. And it was just kind of this just one-off, and it was fun. But it fit into the whole story, so it made it even more. So, yeah, I just think it's great.
And, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's been renewed for a second and third season.
Yeah, it's
kind
of crazy.
Really good for them.
I feel like streaming shows at this point are, like, some of the strongest contenders.
Well, I also feel like it's one of those things where, especially in Netflix's, both for good and ill, Netflix seems to really want original content, and when you're in a situation where a lot of people are working in the studio system, the studio only wants things done a very specific way.
Yeah.
And what you do is you find those people that are well-liked, like create showrunners, like well-beloved showrunners or even up-and-coming showrunners who do that one show that everyone really loved, but then they left or then something happened and studio meddling, and then that show got canceled or whatever. Yeah. And then Netflix approaches them and goes, well, we'll give you money and we're just going to leave you alone. You tell us how much money you need. If we greenlit it, go make the thing that you told us you were going to make. Don't even, we're not going to like hold your hand or stand over you and say you have to make this or have to make this change. Just go make the show. Like I was watching a documentary thing, or not a documentary, like a commercial thing for Netflix's animated branch, like their animation studio branch, because they have like the dude who did Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack.
Gennady Tartakovsky.
Yeah, Tartakovsky. They have like him, the guy who created El Tigre. I can't think.
I forget. I don't know his name either. But
it's the same guy who did Book of Life, isn't it? No.
Yeah, I think so. I just don't remember his name, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like Jorge something or other.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah. Like him, and like it's a bunch of people who are like, if you think about when Cartoon Network first started and started doing original content, it's like a who's who of this is like these people, and now they're all working for Netflix. And when they were talking about it, they're like, like back in the day when Cartoon Network started up and when Nickelodeon was first becoming a thing, it was like the Wild West. Like these people were like, here, we'll throw money at you and you make what you want. Oh great, it's doing great, you keep doing more of it. And then eventually, companies got bought, execs, different people came in, and they're like, no, you can't do that anymore. You have to make it like this. No, we understand that what you did was popular, but we want you to make these changes because we want you to make these changes. Yeah. Whether it be because we don't want to pay you as much money. Whereas Netflix is now kind of the new Wild West, where they're just like, they're coming in and going, here's a bunch of money, go make it, and then bring it back.
It's absolutely true with a lot of their shows. In fact, some of the ones that I have on my list are from them, and I feel like they wouldn't work on normal television a lot of times.
There's only one network show on my list.
Yeah, I think there's only one that's technically a network show on mine as well, which is The Good Place.
Yeah, it's on mine too.
Fuck yes, The Good Place is really, really fucking good.
Yeah, it's great.
And goddamn, the lady who plays Janet really deserves an award.
Yeah, she's
hilarious. I will say this about The Good Place. I have not caught up on the latest season.
I haven't either.
But that's good. And this is why I probably, had I caught up on the latest season, it would probably be my best show of the year. Just because it's been best show of the year previous times, in my opinion. This is a show that when I was told what it was about, like not the twist, but when I was told what the show was about, I was like, this seems dumb, but I'll watch it. Watch the first few episodes. This is kind of smartly written. Okay, this is funny. Oh no, this is great. And I'm watching, I'm laughing, I'm like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. And then when it gets to the twist, it's like, oh, that's totally, like, I didn't see that coming. Which is crazy because you should have saw it. Like, it's like when you see it, when it happens, it's like,
yeah, and you look back at the
it's really obvious.
It's really obvious. Why did I not know that? I should have caught that because I'm also one of those people that tries to guess what the twist at the end of the season is going to be. And then the second season, it kind of flipped it on its head a little bit. Like, I'm like, okay, how are they going to do this with the twist of the last season?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, well, it's still really good. Okay, man, it's like this could have gone the other way.
Oh, very easily.
And then knowing what the third season is, because it's the third season that just wrapped up or whatever. Knowing what the third season is, not knowing how it ends or whatever, but knowing what the third season is, where it starts out at, it's just like, holy shit! Like, this shouldn't work, but it does, and it keeps doing things. And I'm like, well, they just ruined the show, but no, it's like what they did was the best thing they could have done.
Yeah, every time a change happens, it doesn't last that way. Kind of thing. Like the beginning of season 2, you're like, oh, it's probably going to be this whole thing that plays out for the whole season. It's like, no, it plays out for like these 2 episodes at most.
Yeah.
And then it changes into something else again. And that's exactly what the third season does as well. It's like the first few episodes are the thing it says it's going to be, but then it's like, well, let's do this though. All right, after that. And I love that about that show. It is so fucking smart with where it's going. And every time I'm like, I don't know where this is going, the show is like, we're going this way, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't see that part coming.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked the show has made it to 3 seasons and was renewed for a 4th season.
Yeah. Well, make sure
any other show like this that would have been made on any other network would have been canceled by now.
Yeah, I think they said that they have an ending planned if they ever get to like a season 5, like 5 seasons is where they'd want to cap it. But I think he also said, but if they come back and say we want a season 6, I have a way to write that in. Like I've given myself a couple outs to bring it back, but if I remember correctly, he said 5 is his sweet spot that he would love to get to.
Mike Schur is a pretty smart guy. I mean, and I think they're just throwing money at him at this point.
That cast is so fucking good.
Oh, it's so good.
Everyone
in that cast is great.
I keep meaning to.
The podcast is great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I hear it's really, really good. I guess I can just throw out some of my other ones. Kidding is actually on my list, and it's a show about a Mr. Rogers type. He's basically Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, it's Jim Carrey as Mr.
Rogers. But one of his sons died because he has twin boys. One of them died in a car accident like a year prior to the show starting, and he's separated from his wife. He still does the show. Like, his dad is the showrunner, I guess, or he's like the exec in charge of it. His sister helps make puppets and stuff, and it's him dealing with the way his life is now, but also like the deep, dark rage that he has that he doesn't really show people. Because it's like if the nicest guy you knew, like, behind doors would sometimes smash a lamp, kind of thing. But it's very clever with what the show does, is that instead of showing him smash a lamp, he'll be staring at something and then it'll cut and then like there's a lamp smashed and he's like putting a bandage on his hand. Like, you never actually see the act of whatever his rage is, and it's really fascinating the way it is, because
it's really good.
Jim Carrey doesn't, like, it's not like he's a terrible person or anything. Like, he's legitimately a huge sweetheart the entire show, like, except for like some stuff here and there with the rage stuff, and you're just like, I want this to work for him, like, really badly, because he just seems like a sweetheart, but things keep either going in one direction or another direction. His family dynamic just isn't working anymore, and it's just fascinating. Like, it's funny because the way it happened was that my roommate, he was just going to watch one episode, and he was going to watch it when he was on holiday. We binged the entire thing in like one day.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I was just like, this is so dark but so mesmerizing. And it's made by started by Michael Gondry. Michel Gondry?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
Gondry. It's really fucking, like, it's fascinating, and there's so many great little shots that are done. Like you were saying, the one that's just one take is just one of them. There's so many other takes there's so many other sequences that you're just like, what just happened? But it's so mesmerizing kind of thing. It's on Showtime. I think it got renewed as well, and it's not that many episodes. I want to say it's like maybe 10, and each one's like half an hour. And it's got probably one of my favorite moments in television in it. If I say what it is, it ruins the sequence. But it's both heartbreaking and also really fucking funny. The other one, speaking of the Netflix stuff, there's 2 of them that I'm just going to throw out in sequence. Is BoJack Horseman Season 5 and F is for Family Season 3. They're both really good. BoJack is dealing with his new show and the consequences of some painkilling addiction stuff, and the fact that the set looks just like his house, and so he's having an issue just figuring out the difference between reality and his show. F is for Family is dealing with a new neighbor shows up named Chet, who's a Vietnam vet, who Frank becomes friends with, but there's like some dark shit going on with Chet, as well as a few other weird things going on with and some stuff with the family itself. And overall, they're both really good, and they're both very bingeable, and they're both, I think, some of the best shows on television.
You got any other shows?
Yeah, I just had a few
honorable mentions.
Star Trek Discovery, which I loved.
I've been wanting to watch it, but I'm not subscribing to.
But then you should buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I realized that. No, it actually pissed me off because Rod, the right after Black Friday, told me that some store, either Walmart or somebody, had the first season of Star Trek Discovery for $15.
Oh,
and I was like, it was Star Trek Discovery and some other show like that were just $15. And these were like brand new shows that just came out. And I was like, fuck. I would have totally bought them.
Yeah, so Star Trek Discovery I love. Waiting for the second season, obviously, to start up pretty soon. And then another Netflix show, American Vandal, which is their sort of mockumentary style.
Yeah. It's too bad that didn't get a third season.
I know. The second season was so good.
Yeah. I haven't watched the second.
Didn't expect and was kind of grossed out by, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw out one more. It's a show that actually just popped up on Netflix called I'm Sorry, which is Andrea Savage and Tom Everett Scott, sort of an autobiography of her. She's as a comedian and dealing with kids and husband and just family life. And it's got Jason Mantzoukas and a bunch of other wonderful, hilarious people. And people should definitely check it out.
Okay. All right. I don't really have anything else. I mean, the only other thing I could think of that I put down on my list, and it's not even, I don't even really feel like it belongs on a best of, even though it was really good, was an anime series called SSSS.Gridman.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, for anyone who is not familiar with it, Gridman was a live-action show that got adapted here in the States as Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, starring one of the Lawrence brothers. And what's funny is that the entire Gridman show, the Japanese show that it's based, that it originated from, much like with Power Rangers and Sentai, the entire show is on like Amazon. Like you can watch the entire of Gridman on Amazon, and then. This is an interesting because the SSSS dot Gridman, the title, the SSSS stands for Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. So they're taking elements of some elements from the Americanized version of it, along with elements from the original Gridman. Plus, they're also taking elements from a short-lived manga sequel that was released in Japan. And it's an interesting little show. It's about in the original show, the original Gridman, it was about three friends who build a computer and they come across a virus that is also like a AI virus that is like having this kid who's like the kid who's picked on, and he's like this terrible human being kind of thing, kind of terrible person. Not really terrible, but he's a ignored, he's a loner, he's the ultimate incel, whatever you want to call him.
He's a neckbeard.
But I think the first time we watched it, Amanda's joke was, man, if he had just gotten his dick wet once. for a kid's show, that's pretty adult humor. But and so this evil virus or alien thing is having this kid create monsters that he then creates in the grid world, which the grid world is essentially the internet. In a sense, and like when this monster will go to a section of the grid and start causing havoc, and it'll cause like, oh, he went to this hospital section and he started destroying the buildings in it, and then suddenly in the real world, the hospital, all of the electronics and anything connected to power outlets or anything started going haywire and crazy and like attacking people, and so these kids, they build this computer and somehow it gets inhabited by a hyperspace agent Gridman, who then needs one of the kids to merge with him so that they can then go fight these monsters and fix the grid. That's the original series. This series is kind of they announce it as a complete, it's its own thing, like it's not connected to the old series at all, but there's too many references to it, like it kind of is, but kind of is not.
Yeah.
This one is basically a kid wakes up with no memory, and he wakes up in the house of this girl whose family runs a pawn shop essentially, and he'd collapsed and she'd brought him in, and he has no memory of who he is, but he keeps getting talked to by this being inside of a computer. Which is Gridman. He's like, no, we're connected. Don't you remember? I need your help. And then suddenly kaiju start appearing in the world, and like he has to merge with Gridman to go fight these giant kaiju that are destroying the world. And there's a whole thing about it. It's a lot of fun. And it's actually kind of, when it gets towards the end, it gets like really deep and trying to think of. Like it's a thing, kind of a thing. Like when you start, kind of philosophical about things.
Oh, okay.
It's because I don't want to spoil any of it because the ending is really great. And plus, I think I'm going to be doing an episode of Giganticast with Matt Frank pretty soon, where we
just
discuss.
Started it. It's on Crunchyroll, right?
Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll and also Funimation services
as well.
Yeah. The dub is with Funimation. Yeah. The subtitle is on Crunchyroll. But Funimation is no longer on Verve, so
I'm just gonna throw this one out there. The only reason it's not my best of is because it's only a specific section of it, which is the end of the Tournament of Power for Dragon Ball Super it ended this year, and that shit was exciting as hell. And nice. I'm just gonna say that.
All right, well, let's move up to one of the bigger things, which is movie of the year. Like what? Michael, why don't we start off with you this time? What was your number one movie of this year?
This one was a tough one because I actually watched a shit ton of movies this year for once. But it's hard not to say this one because I watched it like 3 times already, which is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I think is one of the most perfect fucking films I've ever seen in my life. It's probably my favorite Spider-Man movie I've ever seen, and also one of the few movies I've seen in 3D that was fucking worth it. Because my
tough.
God,
that movie, most 3 movies just don't work.
Yeah, and this movie, it works in every possible way. Like it's sweet, funny, dark, exciting. Doesn't feel slow at any point. Like
also, I feel like it's one of the few movies where the trailer didn't spoil something for me. Like there's legitimate things that happen in that movie, like within the beginning of the movie, that I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Like what? Like what? No, that can't be what happens, because in the trailer, what's going on?
In the trailer line?
Yeah, well, in a good way.
Yeah.
There's so much in that trailer that's just like, it feels like it's misleading, but it tells you kind of at the same time what's happening.
It does. And
you're just like, fuck. Like the opening sequence, you're just like, I didn't expect that to go down that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so fucked up, or not fucked up, but it's surprising.
Yeah.
But it's also makes for a really interesting version of that story. And as it progresses, it probably brought one of the most relatable Spider-Mans into existence I've ever seen in a long time. Like, Spider-Man's always been the relatable superhero.
Yeah.
But this version of Spider-Man is the relatable version of that superhero in ways I didn't anticipate.
I've heard people nickname him Bad Luck Parker, I refer to him as Parker Luck Parker.
He's Parker Luck Parker.
Because he is ultimate Parker Luck. Like, because everyone who reads Spider-Man knows that, he has that bad Parker luck. And it's a constant running thing where he's like, oh, that Parker luck. And usually means that something bad happened. And it's like, this guy had everything wrong.
He's the epitome of Parker luck. And in the best possible and and the worst possible way at the same time. But he, instead of like most Spider-Men who... who take it in stride and will stay buff. I guess is a good way of putting it. He's allowed to be, kind of sad about these situations. He didn't like immediately go like, but that's life, and start going back into whatever it was he was doing. He's like, I'm just gonna cry in a shower and eat a lot of pizza. Pizza. And it was just one of those things. Just like there's something just like interesting about a version of Peter Parker who's just like, who after 20 some odd years, it's like 22 years of with great power comes great responsibility. He's like, I don't want to deal with that anymore for a little bit. He's like, great power, great responsibility. I just want to not be sad right now, kind of thing. And there's something fascinating about that. And then also because he's not even the main character of the movie, really. Like he's one of the side. Like he's essentially a side character. But that's the thing about this movie is I'm shocked how much I fell in love with every fucking character within a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Like it does such a it even gives Kingpin's motivation within like a 3 or 4 minute sequence. And you're just like, I get it. I understand why you're doing it.
He's doing it going about it the wrong way.
He's going about it the wrong way, but it's one of those things where it's like, I get what he's doing, and I get why somebody that desperate will do something.
There's
like
a villain character who's in the movie, but not in the way that you would expect. And again, I expect the trailers to spoil that, and it didn't. That character's in the trailers, but not with the reveal of who that character is.
And there's one character that gets revealed that it does such a good job of hiding that reveal, even in the movie itself.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, because I watched it like on my second or third try. I'm like, I have to see if it reveals it before this section. And I kept looking.
I think we might be talking about the same character.
Probably, I guess. But I kept looking at it and I was just like, the movie is so good at keeping this from being that thing until the exact moment it happens.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that this movie was so good at doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, there are some nitpicks you can have with this movie. I'm not going to go into them, but Amanda had quite a few coming out of them. But even with, and she's right, every one of them she pointed out, I was like, I don't have an argument for that, because that's totally valid, but man, did I like this movie. And she's like, yeah, I know. Having said that, I think this is honestly my favorite superhero movie. And I'm like, yeah.
It just might be, to be honest.
And I'll be honest with you, it is my favorite movie of the year as well.
It's so good.
So I mean,
if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this, fucking go watch it.
Go see it. Go see it in theaters, man. Because this is the Batman Mask of the Phantasm of this generation. Yeah. And by that I mean this is a animated movie that is everything you would want to be about for that character. This is like the ultimate this character movie. And I don't think it's doing great in theaters. Like, I don't think it's doing bad.
Though. It's not Mask of the Phantasm numbers, but it's not like fucking Aquaman.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not doing Aquaman,
which caught me off guard.
Which, hey, I'm totally happy that Aquaman. I actually really want to go see that movie. I haven't had a chance to, but yeah, no, it's not doing great, but it's not doing bad either. Like they've already greenlit a sequel, and they've already greenlit a spin-off in addition to the sequel. Like they've copyrighted the animation technique that they use because it is like nothing else you have seen in animation.
I'm just glad Sony finally figured out, hey, we have an animation department. Why don't we just do that with these superheroes? Like Disney did it once with Big Hero 6, and then no one else did it, and it bothered me for years. And somebody finally cracked that fucking shell, and I'm so goddamn happy.
Yeah, it's really good, and I'm so excited for the sequel movies. I'm excited for the all Spider-Woman movie that's rumored to be coming out. Yeah. I'm excited for the sequel of what it can entail, and I also think it's hilarious that the head director or writer for the sequel or whatever has been kind of playing with the fans, been like, oh, if Spider-Man of the Spider-Verse can get $100 million, I'll totally put in the Japanese Spider-Man in the sequel. if it can hit this number, and it's like a number there's no way it can hit.
Yeah.
And then like he's like, oh, and if it can hit 300,000, I'll totally throw in Italian Spider-Man
I like
too.
how he treats it like a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But people are like reporting on it too, which is my favorite part.
Yeah, and it's very clear, like there's no way it's going to happen, and
he probably has no control over that.
he has no control over it. I mean, he might be able to do
maybe the Spider-Man one, but not the Spider-Man one.
yeah, not Italian Spider-Man, because that's not actually a Marvel property.
No, yeah.
That's a rip-off spoof.
So many things, but yeah, it's absolutely my favorite movie of the year. And there's so many good movies this year.
And I gotta say, with that movie, they actually, I feel like they improved on Miles Morales, the character, in a way that I really appreciated, that still made that character his own. Because in the comics, say what you will, I love Miles Morales as a character. He's one of my favorite things that Brian Michael Bendis has done in comics. Yeah. I think he's a wonderful character, but I do feel like he's just kind of Black Peter Parker. Like that, it's not. He's a little bit smarter, than your average kid. He's got some, he's got his family or whatnot. But it's just there's nothing that really makes Miles jump out other than being,
But his power is set, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, and here it gives him a style, like an interest. Like there's he likes painting, he likes graffiti, he likes drawing, he likes it's just like there's an element of style to it that really that I really, once I saw this movie, I was like, that's what the actual comic book version has been lacking. Not this specific thing, but there's just that style that now that when I look at this movie, this is how I envision Miles.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one I feel is a little bland.
Yeah,
but it's not a bad character either. Like, I feel like the things I'm saying are kind of like saying that this character is garbage, and it's not. It's a really good character, but it's just, like I said, I always felt like the comic book version was great, but it felt like there's something just one little thing that was it was a good character that was, or better yet, it's a great character. It just wasn't amazing. And then now...
Is that a pun?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, because it was spectacular, the way you made that work.
Well done there, too. But,
Some would say sensational.
Yeah, sensational. But, he is the ultimate Spider-Man, if you will.
God damn it. But because you beat me to that pun, to be honest. Not that I hated the pun, you just beat me to it. Because I was going to say, ultimately, I feel like he's right, though, because I was thinking back to Miles' original origin, and I was trying to figure out what made him unique to, the Spider-Verse, essentially. Like, I don't mean I mean that for everything. Like, I've read so many what ifs, that kind of thing. But what made him specifically unique originally was the fact that his version of what with great power comes great responsibility was the fact that he didn't help Peter Parker at that exact moment, and that's kind of okay if it wasn't for the fact that he comes back to life. But a year later.
I also feel like in the comics it was less of a thing because he didn't help him, but it's not like he was there.
But
it's not like he even he may have known of his powers, but it's not like he I'm going to be a superhero. It was
that was the issue I had with it for a long time, which was like but what did you expect to do?
Yeah,
because like you said, he wasn't there. He wasn't exactly like 3 years into having powers. Like, he just found out he had powers like a week before that.
Yeah.
And so his version, I was just like, oh, I have to do this because I could have helped him. It's like, but that's not true, though. I don't think that's true at all. Like, what would you have done? Like, even if you were that moment, like, I'm gonna go help him, you would have had to figure out how to got there. You don't have web shooters at this point.
Yeah, and that's the other thing in the comics.
And it's like Gank is your friend. Like, that's really the only other thing that made you different was that you had a fat Asian friend. Really, like that sounds mean, but that's what it was. It's like you have a friend that also knows you're Spider-Man, I guess. Like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But there's so many like little things that weren't all that interesting until a certain point. Like, eventually they killed...
Oh, yeah.
They killed a certain character in there, which I guess obviously kind of partially spoils the movie as well. That kind of added some more to it. But that happened so far into his run that it felt like it wasn't exactly the thing, where the movie makes it the thing and makes it work way better than it did because of that. And even the comics fucks that up because that motherfucker comes back to life too.
Yeah.
So it's like, God damn it.
No one stays dead in the comics.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like this movie nailed Miles Morales, because that was the other thing. Is like, if I remember correctly, in the comics, his costume was given to him by Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like Nick Fury's just like, here, we made a costume
you're
for you.
Spider-Man now.
And here, that costume is all him. Like, I mean, the actual outfit is a already made Spider-Man costume, but the color, the design, everything, he makes that himself. Like, it again, it goes to, it makes his character. And I feel like the other great thing about this movie, and I feel like another reason why I feel like it should be listed the best, is that it's inspired people. Because there's the whole Spider-Sona thing on the internet, which is still going on, and people are still making their own character versions, and it's, I think that's fucking great.
The movie proves a point that Stan Lee used to say a lot about Spider-Man, which is anybody can be Spider-Man. Like, that's what that's one of his favorite things about his design, is that anyone can see that. Like, it's not like Superman or like Batman, where you see the fact that that's totally a white dude kind of thing. It's like, you could be Mexican, you could be Asian, you could be Puerto Rican, you can be anything. Like, you can be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, there's no difference for it. And the movie drives that home, and I'm so happy about that. Like, I was crying, like, immensely in this movie, like, constantly. And when it said that, I just kept bawling even worse.
Yeah. Well, I also think
the Spider-Sona thing, it amplifies that, and it makes me really happy that that's a thing, because out of all the, like, Persona things, I feel like this is something that should have been the thing to begin with.
Yeah. And also, you know, I know people who online are like, oh, I hate the whole, in the comics, Spider-Geddon or Spider-Verse thing, because when you have too many of Spider-Mans running around, it dilutes the character and makes Peter Parker less special, or makes when you have two Spider-Men running around, it makes them less special. I'm like, bullshit. Green Lantern has a fucking million Green Lanterns, and Hal Jordan apparently is still the most special fucking Green Lantern in the world. He's not any less special because Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, John Stewart, and the hundreds of others.
Especially
go fuck yourself. You know, it's like, go fuck yourself. Like, but I feel like this movie again kind of enforces that like, no, it's there being more versions of that character does not make that character any less special. It actually kind of in a way makes them more special because of how they're different from the others.
I think that's what makes it work more than the Deadpool family at one point, because there was a Deadpool family at one point. All those characters are the exact same fucking person. They were just a gender swap, a kid version, a zombie version, and like a dog.
Yeah.
That was it. They killed off all of them because they realized all of these dudes are the same. Even their different versions were the same fucking person, just like kind of swapped in some kind of way. Every Spider-Man is a different person. Like even within their own universe. Superior isn't Amazing. Amazing isn't Miles. Miles isn't 2099. Noir isn't even Peter Parker, essentially. Like, every single one of them is a different person. And that's what makes the idea of different Spider-Man amazing to me. And the fact that also you get great, like, little gags, like the idea of Peter Parker. It's a spider that was bitten by a radioactive fucking pig. Like, that's a thing that happened to him. And then you read stuff like Spider-Verse that's amazing because even though all of these Spider-Men are very similar, there's a lot that's different about them. Like, I think one of my favorite parts of Spider-Verse, the original like comic, is there's two Spider-Men hanging out with each other, like in the middle of like all those battles. One of them's wearing a black suit and the other one isn't, and he's just like, oh, do you have the symbiote? He's like, no, it's not really one. He's like, what's different between me and you? He's like, I don't know. He's like, there's a lot of different versions of us all over the place. It's like, I swear I saw the guy from Seabiscuit. He's like, I saw the dude from Social Network, kind of thing. Like, stuff like that. He's like, another one was trying to teach me English. Another one was trying to tell me about, like, sales or something. Like, a bunch of weird shit like that. It's like, every single one of them is different, but we're all unique in our own way. Because, like, we're all Spider-Man, and that's fine. Like, and I love that about that. It's like, you don't need to be exactly the same, but you don't need to be completely different. Like, you just need to be you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like the movie really kind of encapsulate that, in which, again, so good, so well made. I agree with you. It was my pick as well. for the best movie.
So good. Also, stay for the credits.
Oh yeah, after the credits.
I honestly need to see this movie.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I feel like we might have like spoiled something.
No,
or
you
whatnot.
guys danced around it pretty well.
Yeah,
I tried as hard as I could.
I'm talking to you. I was talking to you like you had seen it, and I'm like, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
This is one of those weird ones where I haven't had a chance to see it.
Oh, you need to go see it, dude.
No,
Trust
I know.
Me. It's really good, and there is a great post-credit scene. But what is your movie?
Mine is A Quiet Place.
Okay.
Which I loved it. I like horror, so
Same here.
It was kind of a unique movie-going experience. I will say that.
Yeah.
Just because it is quiet and eating popcorn and that. We went to the draft house and they left out little notes and said, you should eat quiet things if you really want to do this. But everyone was getting popcorn anyways.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of fun. But I think it was just an interesting story. I liked Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. There's definitely things you can nitpick, like why would you have a kid in this universe and things like that. But I think the story it was ultimately trying to tell was really engaging, and just the world and the creatures and I know he's already writing a sequel.
Yeah,
so
which I love the story behind that.
Yeah.
Because John Krasinski said that he will never be he's like, if they want to do a sequel, that's fine, but I want no part of it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I relinquish control to let them do that, but I don't want to do it because there's nothing to tell. And then the studio went to him and went, well, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So why don't you go home, think about it. If you can think of something, write a script. We'll take a look at it. If we don't like it, we'll go with somebody else. But we would really like your involvement. And so he's like, all right, well, if I was going to do it, how would I do it? And then an idea kind of hit him. And then he started writing it. And he's like, motherfuckers tricked me. and then they accept, they're like, yeah, we like that script. You can do it. You're a part of it. And he's like, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They Jedi mind tricked me.
And I think it's
the best way to get somebody on board with something, though. Make it their idea.
Yeah, the people involved. I like John Krasinski a lot, and I think it's just the heart in that script and sort of the fun nature of it, but also the horrifying nature of it, too.
Yeah. It has one of the most effective early deaths I've seen in something in a while. And it's realistic as the fact of how it happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's completely what would happen.
Exactly. and it's both, like, horrifying, but also, like, motherfucker, we told you.
Yeah.
kind of thing. But you can't really blame them. I don't know. It's one of those things, but it's like you said, there's a lot of heart to the film.
Yeah, and that's what I look for in movies most of the time.
I'm gonna say something that is very... I own this movie.
Yeah.
On Blu-ray. I've never watched it.
Really?
So Amanda tried to do this.
Deadly game.
Let me explain. So Amanda was doing her. Usually she does like 30 days. We do 30 days, 30 movies leading up to Halloween. I think last year she did 100, and or this year we decided to do 100.
Yeah.
100 movies, movie each day leading up to Halloween, and we bought that specifically when it came out as a movie to watch, and then we never got around. Like, it was literally, we had them in order, like a specific order that we wanted to watch them, and that got all out of whack because the first day of the horror marathon was the day before our wedding day.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was totally unintentional. Like, not planned that way. Like, we were just like, fuck, we're going to start at a deficit because we can't watch a movie today because family's coming in. We can't watch a movie tomorrow because we're getting married. And the day after that because family's still going to be in town. And fuck. And so, like, we started at a deficit, and then there was just a certain point where we just said, fuck it, and just kind of stopped watching movies completely. And so, like, there's a giant stack of unwatched Blu-rays, of horror Blu-rays, of things like Happy Death Day, A Quiet Place, trying to think of, like, The Conjuring 1 and 2, stuff that we bought specifically for this marathon that we just never got around to. And it's one of those that we, like, every time, I'm like, we should watch that movie. But we don't, and then we watch other movies, and that's one of the movies that I kind of. It's also one of those things that because we have our DVD shelves, and then we have our stack of unwatched new DVDs, and then we have another special shelf that's all the movies that we bought for the 100 movies for the Halloween rewatch, and because they're kind of off in their own little place, separate from the other two areas, we forget that they're there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is the real reason why we haven't watched it, is because we're like, oh man, I really want to watch a movie. Yeah, I want to watch a horror movie. What horror movie should we watch? Let's look at the stacks. No, nothing there. Let's see what's on Shudder. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And then we'll, oh hey, this is on Shudder now. We'll watch this, and then like 3 days later, we're like, fuck, we should have watched A Quiet Place. But we can't watch it now because we're busy. Kind of.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was a pretty good year for movies just overall.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did we get like Avengers: Infinity War, and
Black Panther,
but we also got some like smaller films. Like for me, Hereditary is amazing.
That's another one that's on. That's the other movie that I was thinking of that we bought. That's
just so unnerving and creepy and
I haven't
beautifully
fully watched
shot.
it still.
I mean, it's.
I heard
gorgeous.
Mandy was really good.
Mandy's
was fantastic. It's crazy shit. It's fantastic.
Mandy was really good. The movie that I watched, that I watched just a few days ago from 2018, that is a honorable mention, is probably Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh yeah.
I'm like 20 minutes into it right now.
Oh man, I fucking love that movie so much. Like literally, I was like, if Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had not come out this year, this movie would be my number one pick, because I fucking love this movie. And then I'm sitting there just like, I love this movie. This movie's great. Like the shots are so beautiful.
Yeah.
They're so great. And just the use of color, the color grading on it is so great. The acting, everyone is acting their ass off. Like there is one scene with John Hamm at the very beginning where he is just almost overacting.
Is he hamming it up?
He is hamming it up a little bit.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah, no, it's. I was trying to avoid it, but yeah, he's a little overacting, and literally, there's a point where a man is just like, "Fuck, dude, just stop acting for a moment. You're making me tired." And then later on, there's a reason behind that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, that's so fucking, like every little thing has a reason but why it's made, and the fact that there's also these scenes where you see the same scene happening from multiple points of view, in a way that it's like, did they just have like multiple cameras set up and they somehow were able to hide the fact that they had multiple cameras and it's the same scene being told multiple times? I was like, that's crazy. And then like there's also a one long take shot that is so good. It is literally one of the best shots in the movie, and it's literally the thing that made me go,
Drew Goddard is very meticulous.
And then I saw when the credits, when it was like written and directed by Drew Goddard, and I was like, that's why I love this movie. I fucking love Drew Goddard.
It's a really good movie. For me, one of the ones that's in my honorable mentions that I just watched like no more than a week ago, which caught me the fuck off guard because I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did, which is actually Bumblebee.
I heard that was really good.
I was shocked at how good Bumblebee is.
Yeah.
Because it's what happens when somebody decides to make an actual Transformers movie. Yeah. It still has, the human characters and stuff, but you like a lot of them, and you hate the ones that you're supposed to hate, kind of thing. Like the fact that the movie in the very beginning shows you the war of Cybertron going on in really cool ways, and you see people like Wheeljack and RC and all of these like great Transformers look like their actual original designs. Like even Optimus Prime looks like his original design. His mouth flap just goes up and down. Like there's no like removing and then he has lips and shit. It's like, no, his mouth just goes up and down. Like it's fucking supposed to, kind of thing. And like the first 15 minutes is just fucking glorious. Like holy shit. It's just like watching a sequence from War for Cybertron on a giant TV or a giant screen. You're just like, this is beautiful. Why hasn't this been done before?
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
And then as the movie progresses, it becomes like there's a joke going around that the movie is a girl and her horse kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it kind of is, but it's so sweet and it's so good at it. And Bumblebee isn't blurry whenever he's moving, and everybody's likable, and the soundtrack's amazing. Like every little thing about it works.
Well, isn't it the director of Kubo and the Two Strings? Isn't that the guy?
No, I don't know.
I'm like 90% certain that was the same.
Even
director.
John Cena's not bad in it. I was expecting John Cena to be like some terrible thing, but it was like, you're not
John
bad.
Cena had a decent year actually.
Yeah,
he did that. He did Blockers, which I thought.
I like Blockers a lot
is
actually. That's one of my this movie wasn't bad, but I enjoyed it. And there's some great moments in Blockers as well, actually. Same with Game Night. I think Game Night is actually... I like Game Night more than
Game Night
Blockers.
is great, actually.
Game Night is one of my honorable mentions because it's so strangely clever about everything.
Yeah, but you throw Jason Bateman and...
you have a phenomenal cast, is the thing about Game Night. And they're so fucking good. There's a few others, I'm sure, that there's a lot of good stuff. I even like Solo enough. Solo's a fun film. Deadpool 2 wasn't too bad. Incredibles 2 wasn't so bad. I wish those movies were a little better than they were.
I still and also I think people should go see like The Hate You Give and Stars Born. Those are both I thought were very, very good at what they do.
I hear A Simple Favor is really good.
Simple Favor is great.
But those are, I guess, are my own. Oh, this one technically came out in another country before it came out here. But Paddington 2 is so fucking good.
I've heard that like Paddington 1 and 2 are like the best.
If you ever feel like you're depressed in any moment, just put on either one of the Paddington films, and you'll find yourself smiling.
There's another YouTuber.
Hard.
For anyone who is on the fence, there is another YouTuber named Patrick H. Willems that he does a lot of video essays, but he has a specific series called Patrick Explains Why Blank is Awesome, or explains blank and why it's awesome. Like he started it with Patrick Explains Batman Mask of the Phantasm and why it's awesome, and then he did one for the Fast and Furious franchise, and then he did one for the Mission Impossible franchise, and then he did one for Blade. He does like these. He does like these little things, and it's him kind of just talking to his parents, and then he just did one why Paddington 1 and 2 are, and why they're awesome, and it's literally like I haven't seen those movies, and I really want to see them after the way he describes them.
They're so fucking good. There's some shots in Paddington 2 that are just glorious.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a CGI bear doesn't change anything. Everything about all of this is so sweet, and there's no anger towards any of it. Like, you just find yourself happy. Like, legitimately, that's the best way of describing it. By the time it was done, I was just happy for like 3 days straight. Like, it and Spider-Verse are just pure injections of happiness into me. Like, period. Like, those two movies, a great way to start it and a great way to end it is Paddington 2 and then ending it with Spider-Verse. Like, holy shit.
All right, well, there were a lot of good movies, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
A lot of bad ones, too.
Yeah, so let's move on to the realm of what the show is, at least for the longest time, has been predominantly about in the past.
Do you speak of comics?
I do speak of comic books, but we're not going to talk about best comic book yet, or best graphic novel.
Okay.
Yeah, or graphic novel / collected edition. We're going to start with the people who make these comics.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with a category that I actually don't have an answer to, and I'm going to explain why I don't have an answer to it, which is best comic artist. This is the best person who's put the pencil to the page and drawn some pretty pictures. I don't have an answer for this because some people may not know this, but I stopped buying comics for about 2 years, outside of like random here and there, maybe a collected edition or whatever, and didn't actually start buying comics again until literally 2 weeks before we restarted this podcast. So I don't know who drew what. I don't know what new talented artists are out there. I couldn't tell you who drew anything at the moment. I am so like this. Like when I realized that we were going to do this as a category, I was like, fuck.
See, I have answers, but I didn't look up their names. That's the thing. And I feel kind of shitty about that because it's mostly because it's really hard to actually find out who the actual normal artist is sometimes for a comic, because it'll be like, the penciler, the inker, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, shit, I don't remember which one of these is the actual one that I should find. And they're both Superman related, to be honest.
Okay.
The artist who did most of Super Sons also did a lot of the Rebirth Superman stuff, which I think is, whoever does those is really, really good. Like, I can't remember the exact artist who did that one. But those are fucking, like, phenomenal. Like, I love everything that guy has drawn. They did a lot of the Superman stuff. And then the person who's doing Bendis' Superman stuff now, I think his name is Ivan Rice?
Yeah, Ivan Rice.
That dude can make a great-looking fucking Superman. Like that, like, every drawing that person has done so far is glorious. And also they put Nuclear Man.
So, just so you know, Super Son's artist was George Jimenez.
That's right, George Jimenez. George Jimenez is fucking phenomenal. I love everything he's done Superman related wise, and I want him to always do that. But Ivan Rice and George Jimenez, absolutely like phenomenal for Superman. That's my answer, I guess, on that one.
Mine is Gary Frank, who is doing Doomsday Clock right now. He's
always good, though.
Knocking out of the park. Yeah, he is. But he's one of those guys that never has been A-list.
Which is surprising to me.
Yeah,
every
he's
time.
always been sort of like competent.
I can agree with that.
And then Jeff Johns sort of was like, no, we have to pair together. You're the best artist for this. And he's taking sort of the Watchmen aesthetic and utilizing it, but making his own.
Yeah.
And just the way he's just laying out the story and the characters, it's just beautiful. And
half of the reason that thing works is because of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean,
a lot of that book doesn't work, but I still am buying it. I'm still reading it. I don't hate it as much as other books, but that I've talked about off mic.
It's got some great moments.
But yeah, it's had some good moments.
I feel like it's like amping up to something, and the last couple of issues I've been really kind of...
The ending of, I don't remember which issue it is, but it's the one that involves Superman.
Yeah, that was the last one. That was, I think, 8.
It might have been that one, but it's either that one or the one just before it, which is the one where Manhattan is thinking about, time.
Yeah.
And he's just like, the last thing I see. And I'm just like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's just... John's evidently...
Can't wait to see that fucking play out.
Yeah, John's has some good ideas. He doesn't always execute them perfectly, but I feel like Gary Frank is definitely executing them pretty great.
Gary Frank is doing great.
I've always loved him from the first time I saw him was Superman and Brainiac.
Yeah?
Holy shit. And Secret Origins that he did with him.
Didn't he work with Straczynski on Midnight Nation?
I think so,
I think that was the first time I remember seeing him.
That's a damn good answer.
Yeah, it's a damn good answer. And like I said, unfortunately, I don't have an answer because I
feel like all of it was Superman related.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? I'll even go on a limb and say that, and this is going to kind of lead into the second one. I feel like Superman has kind of had a weird, and I say weird just because it was unexpected, resurgence as far as because with Bendis coming on, and I honestly feel like, and we're going into the next one, which is comic writer, and I'm leading into this with this, and this is not my pick. I do want to stress that this is not my pick for best writer of the year or anything like that. But I feel like Bendis does deserve a special honorable mention because you could tell he was getting bored with Marvel.
Yeah.
The stuff towards the end of his Marvel run was not good. Like, he had some really questionable things that were in those books. Especially there was one storyline in Ultimate Spider-Man that really kind of with Genki that was...
Oh, yeah. His later last Spider-Man stuff was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
It doesn't really go anywhere.
Like the fat people are persecuted just as much as African Americans, and I'm like, I don't know if that's where you want to go with this.
That's not true.
I'm pretty sure it's not true, and not something that a white guy should be saying.
There's so much towards the end,
and not as saying as a character, but saying it's
got a great ending, but there's so much in between that you're like,
weird.
What are you doing?
So because of that, I was really worried when he went over to DC, and I'll even say, what was it, Man of Steel? I don't think was really great.
It's not very.
It's
a weird.
It's
start.
got some ideas, but I don't think it's great. And then his actual run's been pretty good.
Has it? I tried reading the
I'm about 50-50. Only because I don't like Rogal Rosar.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have. I hate his fucking name. But he is the most early 2000s character that's been conjured in quite some time. Is my only issue with him. But there's so many great things around him that I think is really good.
I don't know if Superman was the character for Bendis. Oh.
That's the thing, is that he's not the guy I would have put him on.
No.
Like, I would have put him on Nightwing or Green Arrow or something. But the thing is that Bendis is going for something. And that's what I'm going to give him credit for.
I'm more excited for what's about to start next week.
Teen Titans.
Young Justice.
Or Young Justice,
that is what I'm more excited for.
Yeah, because he's bringing back Connell and...
Yeah, bring back Connell, but then he's launching this whole imprint of that, and
the Wonder Comics.
Yeah, the Wonder Twins are back. Naomi, which is a brand new character that he's working with David Walker, I think.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, it originally wasn't supposed to, but it kind of inadvertently became the replacement for Young Animal.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I think a lot of the Young Animal, I mean, Gerard Way kind of, I think, loses interest with comics every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, from what I heard is that when Bendis pitched it, they were like, well, we already have this Young Animal, and he's like, well, no, this will be something separate from it. I don't want to take away from that. From what I heard apparently from Gerard Way, they said, hey, because we're starting up this Wonder Comics thing, we're getting rid of you. So you need to wrap everything up.
Oh, interesting. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
It's probably an accident.
I could be. I also could be mishearing something, but
I mean, it makes a bit of sense.
But it was basically, and then apparently when Bendis found, I was like, no, it wasn't supposed to. Like I was under the impression that wouldn't happen, and then it did.
Well, Bendis is like the ultimate team player. I mean, he kind of just works with people, and he always brings good talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets to work with some of the best artists.
That's the thing about a Superman run that I'm so 50-50 with, is that some of the stuff he's done is he's taken apart some of the stuff I really liked, which was the family dynamic. But he's reworked it in a weird kind of way that still makes sense for what's going on, especially for Lois's character. Like honestly, like with Lois, with what Lois is doing right now, I'm just like, I get why you're doing that, because that's something you would do. But like, I don't entirely like it, but I get why you're doing it. And there's so many like other things that's being done, specifically Action Comics, because that's the stuff that doesn't really deal with Rogol.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't say his goddamn name.
Rogol.
I'm just gonna call him Rogol because I can't fucking remember the whole thing. Like, that stuff I'm not a fan of, but there's some cool shit with that. But at the same time, it's like, that's the one thing I'm not a fan of. But like, it's if it all plays out, fine, sure, because Supergirl's dealing with that too.
I was gonna say, the Supergirl book, I'm not paying attention to the Superman, but I am paying attention to Supergirl, and it's great.
Yeah, and like, and there's some good stuff in there too. But that's the thing, is that like, but that was my issue with it originally, was that it didn't feel like it was coherent at first, but it's starting to mesh into something.
Yeah, I just feel like the thing I really wanted to bring it up is that, you know, it really felt like he was bored at Marvel, and now he's in a completely different sandbox. You can kind of tell in his writing that he's like excited about comics again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, oh, there's the Bendis that I liked at Marvel, that did crazy shit and did stuff that, you know, and actually wrote like really good storylines that didn't have fucking weird, questionable moments, out of character moments for characters that you fucking have been writing for God knows how long.
He just goes for it. Like literally the first story after the first thing he does is that Earth is sucked into the Phantom Zone. Yeah. It's just like, wait, what? What just happened here? You went from 0 to 100 there pretty quickly there, Bendis.
Yeah.
But, like I said, he's not my pick for Best Writer of the Year.
Who is your pick?
So I've actually been jumping in my head between 3 different writers. The writer who I may not have liked all of his stuff, but I feel like he's kind of, 2018 was kind of his year for books written by him. Is my mind just blanked. Scott King. Tom King? Tom King. Thank you. I don't know why I want to say Scott.
I don't know.
But yeah, Tom King.
Scott Lobdell earlier.
Yeah, probably. Tom King, you know, with his Batman storyline, with
Mr. Miracle.
With Mr. Miracle, with his current run on Heroes in Crisis. I feel like he's done one other thing. I can't think of what it was that came out this year.
I don't know. I also feel like it's Batman related, probably.
I think it is Batman related, but I can't think of what it is. But I mean, he's done a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, he's quickly rose from being a secondary writer working with Scott Snyder to like one of DC's flagship writers.
And like I said, I may not like everything that he's written, but I gotta respect that, and that I feel like that's kind of who my answer is, because I feel like he's done the most high-profile things that have actually been interesting, or you know, and like I said, I may not like everything he does, because I certainly don't like what he's doing with Heroes in Crisis. I was
going to say, you've had a fairly visceral reaction to Heroes in Crisis.
It's not great.
I hated the first issue of Heroes in Crisis. I don't know why I continued to read it afterwards, but I hated it. But again,
you hate reading it at this point?
I'm done. Like the 4th issue is making me stop.
Huh?
I read it just because of what you said, and I was like, I get exactly what he's talking about.
But it's just like, the first issue is, I don't like the first issue at all. Like, not even for what happens. I just don't think it's well written. I don't think it's good. I think there are some interesting ideas in this book that I'm like, I really wish these ideas were handed to somebody who could handle them better. And then I didn't hate the second and third issue. Like, I read the second issue, and I was like, oh, it wasn't bad, but nothing really happened.
Yeah.
And then I read the third issue, I was like, it wasn't bad, but nothing really happened to advance the story. And then I got to the fourth issue, and I'm just like, more nothing is happening.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with this. What is it, a 6 issue or is it a 12 issue?
I'm not even sure.
I think I feel like it was going to be 6, and then it got bumped to 9.
Yeah, it's like I'm done. And then there was just one little thing that was just, it was written in a way that it was like, I'm going to be clever for writing this in here, and people are going to think I'm clever. And I read it, and I was just like, oh, go fuck yourself. And I literally threw the comic across the room. Like,
I laughed out loud when I saw it.
I was just I don't even know why I was so upset by it. Like, I was legitimately more upset than I should be, but it just felt a little bit too, I think I'm being clever, but I'm really not.
I mean, Tom King is on my list. He's not my pick, but he...
But despite that, like I said, I think, despite how the wedding stuff with Batman ended, I felt like it didn't end well, but it ended the only way it could end. It's just the ending didn't work, but I felt like a lot of the stuff leading up to it was really good.
Oh, yeah. His Batman run is fantastic.
And his Mr. Miracle is fucking great.
Yeah, Mr. Miracle is amazing.
There are times when I was reading Mr. Miracle, and I'm just like, is this the same guy that's writing those other books? Because this is really good. These are kind of okay.
Yeah, I think Heroes in Crisis was supposed to be a smaller thing, and then DC was like, no, you're our guy, you have to do this larger thing.
We want it to be the next
I think he might be kind of still trying to adapt to that, maybe?
I also hate how much it's really aping Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a fan of how it's affecting other books as well because of it. Like how it affects The Flash and how it affects Green Arrow.
I actually liked how Green Arrow's handled it.
Well, I think that's the thing is I feel like that's the only one that's handling it well so far. Yeah. Because it's one of the few that can pull that kind of twist out.
Yeah.
Whereas with Flash, it was like you had this whole almost event with Wally just before that.
I know.
So
and
it's like
kind of was like,
it's like, well, what the fuck? It's like. Whereas with Green Arrow, like you can do that, but with Flash, it's like, well, what the fuck was the point of that entire last thing then if you're going to do this now?
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, I unless something ends up happening that someone says, no, you need to go back and read more of Heroes in Crisis, I'm not gonna. But I do feel like he has had a phenomenal year as far as writing, and I do think he is up there. And then the other two writers that I kind of had on my short list, that one was Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah,
am I saying
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Ta-Nehisi Coates. I knew I was going to butcher his name, but I really love what he was doing on Black Panther. I really love what he's doing on Captain America.
Yeah, I was a little weirded out by his Captain America, but 6 or 7 issues in, it's because he's using like Selene from like X-Men.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely doing some kind of weird stuff,
like,
but it's
does this belong in a Captain, but he's making it work.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's just like, this is Captain America, especially after Nick Spencer fucking. I'm totally doing the deconstruction of Captain America by making him the ultimate Nazi. Not Nazi. He's Hydra. Hydra and Nazis are two different things, even though they're actually the same thing. Fuck you.
That was not. Yeah, that was. Oh God.
The Secret Empire had its moments.
Some of them.
Yeah, just. But I feel like
Punisher working for Hydra. That's neat, I guess.
Yeah, and now there's 2 Steve Rogers, and technically one is real and the other one isn't, and technically the one that's real is the bad guy.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I don't understand.
And instead of trying, and it's like they didn't even try to put that genie back in the bottle. They just went, let's ignore it.
Yeah.
Let's pretend that no one else cares.
Yeah, and that's gonna work because no one else cares. And then some writer someday will be like, they never actually said, and they always said that. Let's do a story about that. Whatever. But I feel like he came in with that and actually made it work. Made the aftermath of that work in service of the character.
Yeah.
Which, if there's anything you can say that may be a good thing, is that it put Cap in a place where where Coates can come in and do this book, because I do think it's a good book.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's doing great. Like like I said, I liked his Black Panther. I fucking love this Captain America book.
Yeah.
It's good. The other one is God damn it, it's a name I didn't write down, unfortunately, but it's also up there as well. Wrote Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Donny
Cates. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that Ta-Nehisi Coates and Donny Cates, they have similar last names, and I keep wanting to say the other. But yeah.
He was also on my list. For one huge thing is that he made a Venom comic that was really fucking good.
Yeah, and that's why he's a guy that I also feel like has been making a lot of really good comics, a lot of fun comics.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the stupidest idea in the world, like making the Punisher, who becomes the new Ghost Rider, who then becomes the Herald of Galactus, and then becomes the henchman of Thanos, then goes time traveling on an adventure to kill Thanos, decides not to kill him, and decides to go through the world to tries to raise Thanos to not be fucking evil.
Yeah.
What? That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever read, and I wanted to read it, and I did, and it was awesome.
Yeah. He has two modes. He's like got the crazy, insane, and then he's got sort of more grounded things like what he's doing with Marvel Knights.
Yeah.
And he comes at both of those ways in like a specific. I mean, he makes them both interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both meticulously done, and even if it's insane, Thanos being Punisher's son, or as opposed to Marvel Knights, which is dealing with kind of like mind-wiped heroes and stuff. It's all, or Venom,
and
which
Venom,
is
Venom is that thing where it's like, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, but this is really good.
Yeah,
because like he gave like one of the most like 90s origins to symbiotes I've seen in some time, but made it work.
Yeah,
like everything about Donny Cates' Venom should not have worked. Like the first issue, I was like, what is this? And then as it went on, I was like, oh, I like this a lot.
Then there's like Redneck and a couple of other books too.
He is, and his Doctor Strange was
Doctor
really
Strange.
good too.
Yeah. No, like I said, that's why he was also pretty high on my list as well. So it's one of those things where I couldn't really choose between those three, because again, it's also one of those things where I haven't really been reading a lot of comics this year. Okay. A lot of the stuff is me going back and either buying digitally or getting through Comixology Unlimited or whatnot, or whatnot, and kind of coming back and trying to play catch up since I haven't been reading comics. And so for me, those three are kind of the top three, and I don't really know which one it is, because like I said, Tom King is, I probably would just give it to him because I feel like he's had the better prolific of a year than the other two, but the other two's writing is so on point with everything, in my opinion, or consistently good, whereas Tom King is kind of, well, this was good in execution, not a great ending. This was not that great, but it was okay. This is kind of garbage, but it has some good ideas, like it's one of those things where I'm flip-flopping on which one. So I would say all three of those would probably be the top three for me. So someone else want to say what their top favorite comic writer is?
I mean, if you know me, I'm going to sound like a broken record, and that is it's Grant Morrison.
Yeah, no.
And talk about coming in at the last second, because, I mean, yes, earlier he had Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 2, which is an amazing feat, because he just utilizes everything about Wonder Woman and makes it work.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't ignore anything, and using the William Moulton Marston stuff and also like Silver Age stuff, he just throws it all at the wall and he makes it stick somehow. But also he relaunched Green Lantern, and while there's only 2 issues out, they're both fucking fantastic.
So this is what's funny about Green Lantern is for anyone who is familiar with our show from the last run, I am a huge Green Lantern fan. Like, if my two favorite comic book characters and I'm talking Marvel, DC, whatever, are the Flash and Green Lantern, and depending on which day, either one could be number one, but for most of that time, it's Green Lantern. I fucking love Green Lantern more than anything. Like, he's literally one of my favorite characters, and I love all versions of it. Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, Simon Baz, all the all those characters. Guy Gardner, John Stewart. I could literally just sit here and just start naming Green Lanterns for hours on end. And the thing that like, I'm reading Grant Morrison's current run and the first issue, and I'm sitting there going, and I almost asked if you guys wanted to do just an episode based on that, to talk about that, but I decided not to. I forget what we actually ended up talking about, but it's one of those things where reading it, I'm like, this is really good. This is really, really good. Like, the art is amazing in it, but fuck, does this feel like I'm reading a comic from the 80s?
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire thing. I'm like, I feel like this is not a comic that came out now. This is a comic that came out in the 80s, and I'm just now finding out about it.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is, but it's also like Green Lantern by way of Law and Order, and you're getting interrogation sequences or entire issues focused on that, and you're getting a weird distillation of who Hal Jordan really is, and it's just badass.
Well, because he went back to that jobless door salesman, Hal Jordan.
Yeah,
like, and that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I'm like, wait, when did he go back to being that? That he hasn't been that forever. But I'm again, which is why I went back to the whole. It feels like I'm reading something out of the 80s. Like, even the art style, which is not an 80s art style. Yeah. It's kind of feels like something you would read in a heavy metal magazine.
Yeah. I'm blanking on that artist's name, but he came off of working with Greg Rucka on Wonder Woman, and he's been around forever.
And he is just killing it with what he's drawing on the page. But it's a good book. But I'm just like I said, the one thing I can't wrap my head around is like, it really feels like the 80s, something from the 80s. And then I was watching something, and someone was brought it up in a YouTube video where they were talking about it. And then you have Grant Morrison doing some 80s inspired Green Lantern that's more brilliant than it has any fucking right to being. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm not the only one who feels like they're reading something from the 80s.
It makes sense, though. Well, every time I look at it, it looks like something that I would find at half price that came out like 20, 30 years ago.
Well, then he released...
Feels like Mosaic or something.
Yeah, and then he released his Christmas special, which is Claus and the Crying Snowman. Which is amazing.
Okay.
Have you not read any of the Claus? Basically, it's Santa Year One. He did a couple years back, which was sort of the...
it's good.
Okay.
It's basically Conan becoming Santa in a lot of ways.
Oh.
But it's basically making also Santa a superhero. He's Superman in a lot of ways.
I'm cool with this.
And it's just it's just this distillation of the Christmas spirit by way of Grant Morrison, which is, drugs, fighting things on the moon, and all this other bullshit.
Sounds like Grant Morrison.
Yeah, and it's just amazing and heartfelt, and kind of makes you love comics. And I think that's why I love Grant Morrison, because he makes you love comics.
Yeah.
You feel his love.
I do.
Is the thing about Grant Morrison.
Oh, yeah. And the art he always works with great artists.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Dan Mora, who works on Claws with him, is fantastic. And he's about to have a huge year. He's rebooting Buffy with Boom. He's going to be the artist on that.
Oh, okay.
He's also been working on the Power Rangers books.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Is he doing the Go-Go Power Rangers?
Yes, he's been drawing Go-Go Power Rangers, which I will, writing? Drawing? Drawing, yeah.
Yeah, I read an interview, and he's like, I'm always interested to find out these little things about Dan Mora. He's like, I am the biggest Power Rangers fan ever.
Oh, no, he is. I got to see a couple panels when I went to Power Morphicon last year, and he was like, I was so happy to be able to draw this. I was so good.
Which you can tell when you look at the page. You're like, this guy loves this stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about comics right now, is the people who love them are allowed to make them right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any others?
I will, but just nothing. What is your pick?
Mine's actually Chip Zdarsky for Spectacular Spider-Man.
That's also a good one.
He brought in a character that I was a big fan of from an original graphic novel from some years back called Family Business. Teresa Parker.
Yeah.
Which is his long-lost sister.
Yep.
Which I remember when I read Family Business, I was like, are they ever going to go back to this? Because I want them to go back to this really badly.
Mark Waid character, wasn't it?
I think so. Okay, because I think he's the one who wrote that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, because that ends on a cliffhanger, because it's like, well, is it the sister? Is it not? And Chip's like, yeah, I'm going to make it a thing. We're going to do this. And I'm so fucking happy he did. But there's so many great little sequences in the middle of that story probably one of my favorite issues like ever, which is it's just a issue of Peter and Jonah just talking.
I was gonna say his version of his Jonah Jameson is fantastic.
It's fantastic, and there's just the two of them like they're finally they're finally sitting down and just going, what the fuck is what is your issue with me? Like both of them having that heart to heart, and it's amazing. Like it's this great moment, and then it ends with Peter just outright telling him, like, look, I'm Spider-Man. Like I'm gonna fucking tell you that right now. It's like this whole thing has been going on for years.
It was a great issue,
and it's fantastic, and it blended into Dan Slott's run as well. Like it became permanent, which is what I wasn't expecting. I think is the best way of putting it. Because my other answer is technically Dan Slott because the fact that Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man was so good, and it also bled into Dan Slott's finale to his Amazing Spider-Man run, which has been going on for ages.
Yeah,
like I turned 18 when that sort of thing started.
Yeah,
and I'm turning 29 on Wednesday, if that says anything. And so Dan Slott figured out how to build up to this long sequence that finally culminated, and also with one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in a sentence, which is Green Goblin gets the Carnage symbiote. Yeah. When you put that in a sentence, you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But then it happens, you're like, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
We're gonna make a toy of it.
It's like this, and it becomes this long battle that's between Spider-Man and his entire supporting cast, basically, against Norman Osborn, and it's phenomenal how it ends. And even the last issue that has nothing to do with that part of the story is really good too. And I guess my third answer would be Peter Tomasi.
I love Peter Tomasi.
Because his Superman stuff from Rebirth was amazing. Like, his entire family dynamic stayed until Bendis started. And he got to write the Death of Superman movie.
Yeah.
And he made me like...
He's also just starting back up on Detective Comics.
Exactly. And he made me look at the Death of Superman, or he made the movie for the Death of Superman more interesting than that it had any right to be. And
still need to see that.
Yeah. And I'm excited for Reign of Superman. And actually, there is a theater event.
Yeah,
for this
Fathom Events. They're showing Death of Superman, and then the premiere of
Reign of Superman right following. It's it's the what was it? The 12th and the 13th, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So I actually am considering it. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, those are my three answers because all three of those guys worked their ass off this year.
Yeah, no, Tomasi's actually a really great writer. I've actually been a big fan of his since he was doing Green Lantern Corps.
I was gonna say, that was
great. His run on Superman has been fucking
phenomenal,
great. Yeah.
The only other person I had that hasn't been mentioned yet is Jason Aaron.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
His Mighty Thor came to an amazing conclusion, and then his restarted Thor with Odinson back in the main role, and it's been kind of just this bonkers ride of going to hell, and it's insane, and it's fun, and he just started writing Conan, which is technically came out the first week of January, so it doesn't count, but it's badass and people should read it.
I've heard it.
It counts in our hearts.
Amanda bought it. I haven't read it yet. She read it and she was like, "This is fucking great. This book is great." And I was like, "All right, put it on my pile. I'll read it."
And I have another one, but it'll end up being part of the best comic, so I'll roll that in.
Well, I wanna move on, not to best comic, but to best original graphic novel and or collected edition. These are collected versions of the single issues, like single volume, I guess you could say. If there's a single volume that you like, we could do. Mine is kind of a weird one. And I say it's for me, it's not weird. Like when I say what it is, you're gonna be like, "Oh, of course, that is." But mine is The Comic Book Story of Professional Wrestling by Aubrey Sitterson and Chris Marino. This is it is kind of a history book of the history of professional wrestling, but it is done in a way that is engaging, and it doesn't feel like you're just reading. This is very on par with. I don't think it's as good as, but it's very on par with like Hip Hop Family Tree.
Right.
But it's very similar to that in that it's kind of telling the story of the history of something, of a complete thing, and it's one book. It's really well done. I feel like it's one of those books that you can be a fan of wrestling and get it. You can be someone who's never watched wrestling before, read it and enjoy it, and maybe even become a fan of wrestling. And you can even be someone who doesn't like wrestling and read it and maybe understand a little bit about why it's as popular as it is.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a book that really anyone can read, and it's told in a very engaging way. Chris Marino fucking drew the whole book out of the park. Aubrey Sitterson really did a great number with writing it, putting it together, and it's just really, really good. And well, it's a complete package. It's really good. And I also feel like he does a really good, because I mean he gets the whole thing out of the way of, yes, it's fake, but in a lot of ways it's not fake, and because it's scripted and predetermined, that almost makes it more of a real sport than, say, UFC. And like it's weird, like when you say it, when you hear me say those words, like, oh, because it's scripted and predetermined, it's almost more of a sport than something like UFC or boxing. You hear me say that and you're like, you're full of shit. And you're right, that is a full of shit of answer. But when you read how he goes into explaining that, and even he refers to wrestling as the one true sport, it makes a lot of sense. And it goes a good way to explain everything, and I came away, like, I knew I was going to like it before I bought it, because I'm a huge fan of Chris Marino. I like Aubrey Sitterson. I've liked the stuff that he's written before. I liked his very short-lived and ended way too soon run on G.I. Joe, because I thought it would have been fun to see where he would have gone with that, but, you know, things happen.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that. But I'm glad that he's back to writing comics, and that he's going to be, apparently he's got a lot, this book alone has gotten him a lot more work.
Yeah.
Because he kind of wrote this, from what I understand, he was done. Like, he was out. Like, because of what happened with G.I. Joe, he was kind of blacklisted. And this was kind of like, well, I'm going to do this and then I'm done, you know, with comics. Mm-hmm. And then he did it, and he's like, well, it's getting some press, and I have an idea for something else that I want to do. Let me submit it to a publisher. And then that got picked up because of this book. You know, it's kind of one of those things where publishers approached him and said, hey, and it was kind of one of those things where this, and it's just a labor of love, and it's really great, and I really highly recommend picking it up. It's called The Comic Book Story of Professional Wrestling. Go check it out. You've probably heard me talk about it before. I think I talked about it on the gift guide or whatever, or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it a few times on the podcast. I was debating on me and Amanda doing a wrestling themed episode where we weren't going to talk about wrestling per se, but wrestling in other media like movies and wrestling comics and things like that. And we were going to talk about this, and we may still do that, but and I'll go into more detail there. But The Comic Book Story of Professional Wrestling was my pick for original graphic novel of the year.
Well, mine technically, well, it's all together now, but it's I picked it because it's one of the more original ones. From, I guess you call it, people call it the Capes, essentially, which is Batman White Knight, done by Sean Murphy. It's it's an alternate reality where Batman, he beats up the Joker pretty hard, and the Joker finally goes, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna be evil anymore. I'm gonna figure out how to not be crazy," and so he decides to go sane, essentially, and he with his choice of going sane, Batman is still very much like, I don't trust him, he's a crazy person. This is all part of something, like, I swear. Like, he's telling everybody this is part of something. And everybody's just like, he's kind of not a bad guy. He's kind of nice now. He's not trying to fuck up anything. And then the culmination of the fact that, well, there's kind of an underlying somewhat plot, but in a way where he's trying to make Gotham a better place, but that might involve taking down Batman kind of thing. And it's one of those things where it's like, you can't, like, the story is interesting because it makes sense from a sense to be like, yeah, we probably should take down Batman. Like, there's a lot of fucking crazy shit going on because of this. There's this whole conspiracy purely to keep the idea of Batman going, kind of thing. And it's really interesting. It has probably one of my favorite reveals involving Harley Quinn I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
The idea of the Harley we know and the Harley that's kind of the Harley now, it's just so interesting the whole way through. And there's a lot of it's really well drawn. It's beautiful. It's got great cameos from, ironically, Batmobiles, I think. Overall, I think it's fantastic, and I highly recommend it.
Mine is a kind of an odd one. It's The Prince and the Dressmaker, which I know is making the rounds on a lot of people's lists. But I finally got a chance to sit down and read it the other week, and it's phenomenal. What it is basically about a prince who likes to wear dresses at times. He doesn't feel comfortable in his own skin, and Jin Wang does both writes and draws it, and she kind of gives it this sort of Pixar quality about a story about acceptance. And it's an amazing story that's just beautifully done in kind of every facet. And it's gorgeous. Her artwork is so detailed and meticulous that, I mean, you can kind of just look at this city streets that she's drawing and just kind of feel that they're lived in. I don't know. It was just a beautiful story, and I think more and more people should read it.
That actually sounds really, really fascinating.
Yeah, it was great. I wasn't expecting to read it, but I finally was able to carve out some time to sit down, and I loved it.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, the only other one that I contemplate, because I saw this on a lot of people's like a honorable mention kind of thing. I saw this on a lot of people's best of, and I hadn't read it yet when I was seeing it on a lot of people's best of, and then I read it, and it's good, but I don't think it was like, I think it was good, but good in a predictable kind of way, which is the All My Heroes Are Junkies.
Yeah.
It's it's Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, them two working on anything, and I buy the book. And I'll honestly admit, I knew nothing about the book. I bought the book simply because their names were on it.
It's always going to be quality.
Yeah, and it is a quality book. It is a great book. The only thing that bothered me, I didn't know it was a criminal book.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw a criminal original novella on the inside cover, I was like, I know exactly how this is going to end. Before even reading the first page, I was like, I know exactly how this is going to end. I feel like that little thing on the front page, like, wasn't even on the front of the book, because again, outside of the book, doesn't say criminal anywhere on it. It doesn't have the words criminal. The only time it says criminal is like from the creators of Criminal, the Fade Out, and like listing all the books that they've done in the past. And I'm like, because the other thing is that those books kind of each have while they very much are the same creative team, they do kind of have a different flair to them.
Yeah.
That very much like, if you're reading a book, Criminal, it does not feel like when you read Fade Out, it doesn't feel like you're reading Criminal. It doesn't feel like you're reading, what is the other ones that he does? Incognito or
Sleeper.
What's the one with the woman? Velvet, yeah. Yeah, it's literally one of those things where while it's the same writing and art team, it doesn't feel like.
Right.
But as soon as I saw Criminal, the words criminal on there, I'm like, I don't know why, but that kind of disappointed me a little bit. But then I read it, and it's still great. It's a great book. It lives, but it feels like you're reading a criminal book.
Yeah. It's a great book, and I hate the main character.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of Criminal's MO, is that you're supposed to hate the main character, and there's a twist in it that if it didn't have the word criminal on it, I may not have realized that twist was coming.
Yeah.
But because of that I was like, oh, I know how this is going to turn up. I bet there's an yeah, okay, yeah, no, this is happening. Oh, there's that, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. So I wasn't like surprised by any of it. And that was really, but it was good. It was definitely good. Like, all of Criminal is good. It just so, like, because of that little, like, I feel like if that hadn't been there, this probably may have been on.
Yeah.
But it was just because that was there, I was like, oh, well, okay. And I don't feel like you need to. I don't feel like that the word a criminal novel or whatever needed to be there, because if you had never read Criminal, just like with any volume of Criminal, you don't need to read the previous volumes.
Yeah.
To know what's going on. You don't because each one is kind of a standalone story, though some do have connections and some characters may reappear at times, like as background characters, as with this book. But yeah. So that almost got there. So let's talk about the big one.
Okay.
This is best comic going on 2018. Let's start with you, Nick. You are the quintessential comic book man. You work at a comic book shop, so I'm pretty sure this might have been hard for you.
It was. I actually had a bunch of possible contenders. We've talked about a couple of them, but mine is Black Hammer.
Black Hammer, okay.
Jeff Lemire, Dean Ornstrom, and various other various other artists, because he's not only doing the main series, he's also doing a lot of side series that sort of focus on different characters. But the Black Hammer, sort of the distillation of superheroes, but trapped in this small town.
I've read the very first Black Hammer miniseries. Yeah. That's all I've read of it, and it was really good.
It was, and it's kind of got the same similarities that we were talking about with Good Place, where it has at the end of each book, there's a cliffhanger, and you're like, how the hell is he going to write out of this? What? And he always comes up with something that I'm not expecting. And I feel like Lemire, I've read interviews with him, and he is, I've said the word meticulous a lot, but he's like 2 years ahead of himself right now writing. And I'm just like, Jesus, this guy is a workhorse, because he's doing this, he's doing a billion other things, like his own stuff, like Roughneck, and working for Marvel and DC.
Yeah, I mean, his run on Moon Knight was pretty good.
Yeah. But Black Hammer is just this great characters, interesting situations. I mean, he did. There's not only Black Hammer, but Dr. Starr and Sherlock Frankenstein, which are these kind of weird amalgamations of like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Frankenstein. And it's all these things we know, like reading all these comics. We know that main characters are going to be like an Adam Strange kind of character or a Captain America type, but it's kind of tweaked, and the artwork by Dean Ornstrom is fantastic. I don't know, it just has gotten under my skin after being badgered to read it by a few of my friends, and I'm like, okay, I'll give in. And it's like, no, this is just great. So yeah, that is probably the book I look forward to, and the third trade just hit last week, so definitely worth your time.
Absolutely. Mine is a fairly new one still. It's The Immortal Hulk, actually, by Al Ewing. That shit is phenomenal.
It is. It's really good.
It is.
That's actually my runner-up.
One of the most terrifying things I've ever read in my life at the same time. Like, it's the first time in a long time that I've looked at the Hulk and went, yeah, we should not let this guy be in children's movies. That kind of thing. Like, the Immortal Hulk it's the monster. Like, it's the Hulk in his purest insane form, and it's amazing every time. And the art done by
Joe Bennett.
Is fucking, it's gorgeous. Like, there's so many great moments of him transforming, the mid-transformation sequences, some of the fucked up shit that he runs into, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is a horror book very much first and foremost than it is a superhero book. And it is phenomenal. I look forward to it every single time.
Yeah, well, it's like when I bought the first volume and I realized that it's called Or Is He Both? And I realized what that was referencing.
Yeah.
Before I even read the comic, that set chills to me, because it's referencing the very first issue of the Hulk, which says, is he man or monster, or is he both? And it's him exploring that. This is very much a little bit of a deconstruction of the Hulk, while also at the same time being an entirely new take on the Hulk that feels familiar and like it's correct.
Yeah.
Like, that's he's changed the Hulk, but at the same time he's taken bits from here and there from throughout Hulk's history, like the whole changing into the Hulk at night, because that was a thing for a while, and then it was only when he became angry, and then when he calmed down, it became that became the thing. But he had the thing where he would turn into the Hulk at night. He had and this Hulk is kind of a little more sinister, more malicious.
He's intelligent too,
and he's intelligent, which are elements of like Mr. Fix-It, and it's a different personality. and
Al Ewing also plays ball with the Marvel Universe because he definitely uses the Avengers and all the characters.
Oh, I loved his appearance in the Fantastic Four, the current Fantastic Four, where he's like, "Oh, don't tell anyone I'm here," kind of thing. And at the very end, they're like, "All right, you can come out." And he's like, "They're all gone." And he's like, "Yeah, you need to send me back right now. You should not have involved me in this." Also, Banner's like, "Also, Hulk's pissed, and he's gonna hold a grudge." And then things like, "Well, that's not going to come back and bite us in the ass." I just like that he says that. It's like, well, that's not going to come back to bite us.
It's so fascinating his that version of because this Hulk is generated from the fact that he's died again not that long ago from what I still think is a very terrible storyline, which is Civil War II. And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm done again. I don't care about any of you anymore." He's like, "I just don't want to do this anymore." But he's still trying to deal with his own life kind of thing. And the fact that, and at that moment when he fights one of the She-Hulk in that Avenger sequence, and that part is so amazing. That entire conversation the two of them have. Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
But I totally agree with you. Like, I am a passive Hulk fan. I like the Hulk. I like the idea of the Hulk. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great character. I'm not a huge fan in that I don't go read Hulk comics, but I will occasionally like, oh, that seems like it would be a really cool story. Let me read that, kind of thing. Planet Hulk was great. The Future Imperfect was great. Just different Hulk stories I read here and there, but he's not like the character I go to read. This book has made it I want to read everything that this version of the Hulk does. Like, this has engrossed me. This has been really good. It feels familiar yet fresh, and it's just so good.
It's so goddamn fascinating every time.
And what's interesting is that 9 times out of 10, while the Hulk is the most malicious and just scary character, 9 times out of 10, he's not the scariest character.
Yeah, he's not the darkest thing going on in that series.
It's a lot of that, or the monster. Like, he's actually the least monstrous thing in a lot of the stories.
It accidentally has that sort of. I don't know. Actually, it's probably not an accident. Is the fact that there's always a bigger monster.
Yeah.
And
not even terrifying. Necessarily in a there's legitimately a bigger monster. It's bigger than the Hulk, but more in that person is more of a monster than the Hulk has ever been.
It's like there's some fucked up shit going on, and it has nothing to do with him right now. And it's definitely probably my favorite going on right now. I guess runner-up would be Venom. Amazingly enough, I never thought I would have said either one of those answers. Like at the beginning of last year, but I look forward to both of those. And there's something dark about every one of them that is still, like you said, interesting. Fresh but also old at the same time. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but goddamn, I love both of those.
My number one pick for comic of the year is actually Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Kyle Higgins has written his swan song for this year. This is he's left the book. He is, and it culminated in probably in all honesty, before this podcast, the thing that got me back into comics was this Power Rangers book, was his Power Rangers book, because I feel like he has taken the book and went, okay, what would the Power Rangers look like today? Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, not let's envision a Power Ranger group today, but let's take Mighty Morphin and let's kind of bump them up to today, kind of see what that looks like. But it's still, we'll reference stories from the series, like they fought, those fights did happen from the original series, but we're kind of doing our own thing, and we'll do it starting with Green Ranger Year 1 kind of thing. Now that was 2 years ago, but this year has been all about the Shattered Grid, which is very much a distillation of what I feel like Power Rangers is. And I feel like what's great about it is that he has come to, on one hand, yes, of course, he's got to be a fan of Power Rangers. He had to have actually enjoyed the show to be able to write what he's writing. But also he has come at it with a respect of all the Power Ranger shows, regardless of what the fans have thought about them. Every version of Power Rangers that ever existed, he has come at it with and made it made a storyline that kind of explains why it's so special, and why these characters work, and why these characters are fun, and the interaction between different characters. And then you also get like the alternate reality where it turns out Tommy never turned back to being good. He chose evil and killed all of the Power Rangers, or took their coins, and became this Lord Draken character, and what he's trying to do. And it kind of it's interesting because it's really good. Like he approaches it with a respect for all of the source material and a seriousness, but also does it in a way that it's still kind of appropriate for the age group that the show was appropriate for, without talking down to them about any of it. And it's really good. Like I honestly did not expect. Like, this is, if you read this and it feels like you're reading a book that's on par with the Marvel Spider-Man, or better than, or the Avengers. Like, even their crossover Power Rangers Avengers, which was not written from this. And I think that was I think that was late 2017 that it came out. But like, even that, like, it felt right. Like, it felt like these characters are on par with Superman. They are on par with Batman. They are on par with Spider-Man and Captain America. And they're treated in a way that it's just like, these are just as great as characters of those. Whereas I feel like previous attempts to bring Power Rangers to comics, it's been like, it's just a stupid kid's show. Let's just, it's comic book. Oh yeah, let's structure it like a whatever. Whereas this, it's taking a mythology and expanding on that mythology in a way that's ludicrous in a way, and crazy, and just something that you just. It's just crazy, and it's the best thing. Like, I've even had friends who didn't like Power Rangers who read this comic and were like, "This is actually really good." And like I said, Kyle Higgins kind of wrote his swan song, wrote his book, and then now the book is kind of something different now, with a new writer and a new Power Ranger team because of the aftermath of his book, which is really great. And Go Power Rangers tying into that as well has also been pretty good. So yeah, Money More from Power Rangers, best comic book of 2018 in my opinion. But your answers are also just as valid.
It's been a crazy year for comics, because the fact that our answers so far are not normal answers for other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this year, not this year, but last year, really, really interesting for comic books. I know we touched upon it, but I actually really do like Doomsday Clock a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
It is kind of weird, but it works so far. And I'm really enjoying it, and the fact that it's bringing in some of my favorite characters, as well as some random sort of theories that go on with other characters. That's just like, this is weird, but I'm enjoying this. And like we mentioned earlier, the art's gorgeous. The fact that Superman plays a really big part is enough to make me really giddy.
Yeah.
Nick, were there any honorable mentions on here?
The only other one that I don't think we've mentioned is a smaller book called Black Badge.
Okay.
It's by Matt Kent and Tyler Jenkins. It's basically the Boy Scouts by way of G.I. Joe.
Okay.
And it's amazing, and just it's an entire package. Matt Kent, who did like Mind Management, like hid like words all throughout like the borders of the page. He does sort of the same thing with Black Badge, and it's just kind of coming up with really fun ideas with kids' characters handling out like assassinations and weird other random stuff, and then just going to like jamborees that have kind of got a weird twist on it. So yeah, it's one of those ones that always goes to the top of my pile.
There was one book for me that only reason I didn't actually include it didn't actually consider it was because it's only had one issue so far, which was Die.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that book hit a chord with me that I wasn't expecting. That literally, it's my favorite thing that's been released so far. But again, I didn't want to mention it or didn't want to call it the best book of the year because it's just one issue so far. And literally, it's one of those things where I'm like, people need to read this because this is fucking good. And it's just a setup issue. Like it's not even like a full thing. Like it's just a setup issue. But it was a good first. It's issue. If for anyone who's not familiar with it, it's the idea behind it is that it is a think of a situation of similar to the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, where there is a group of kids decide to play a tabletop RPG, and the story is that they play on one of the characters' birthdays. They decide to play this tabletop RPG, and then they disappear for 2 years, and then they come back. And when they come back, people are like, "Well, what happened to you?" And they're like, "Well, we can't talk about it." I can't talk about it, and they never say why they can't. And then it skips ahead like 30 years, 25 years, something like that after, and they're all like middle-aged adults. And then it kind of comes back, so it's kind of like this weird gothic Jumanji thing where they have to go back into the game. And it's
Kieran Gillen. Yeah. I mean, if you've liked Wicked and Divine or Phonogram, or he kind of brings the same sort of sensibilities to this.
Yeah, and what I love about it is that he has actually created an actual RPG that this takes place in, that they're playing in the game. And he's basically stated, like, yeah, I've been playtesting this privately for the last however many years, and I was going to release it with the first issue, but I realized that it has spoilers for issue 5, so it'll have to wait until after issue 5, and then we'll release it.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if he's going to release it for free, or if it's going to be a special standalone thing, or if it's going to be like back matter content of a collected edition, or how he's going to release it. But I'm actually really interested in playing this RPG, because his other comment was, by the way, any game played with this RPG is in continuity with the comic no matter what happens.
Oh.
And that and I'm just like, he goes, I can't explain more than that. When you actually see what happens in issue 5 and then also read the rules for this, it'll totally make sense.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like, I'm like, that's interesting as well. But also, it's a really well written and well drawn book.
Yep.
I don't know why it hit the chord with me so hard, but it's just like one of those that I'm like, yeah, this is really good. This is probably this. If more issues had come out, it probably would be I can already tell it would be my best of 2018. It may end up being my 2019 if the book continues along the path that it's going. But yeah, and then there, like I said, there was a bunch of books that I read this year, within the last like 3 months, that I think are great, but I don't know if they're best. Like Murder Falcon, I think it's fucking awesome, but that I don't know if I'd call that great.
I think there's one. It's not really. I didn't really put it in any great, only because it's the ending, which is Invincible.
Yeah,
Invincible ended in February of last year, and I thought it was a great ending, but I wouldn't put it in the top only because it was its ending.
Right.
So, but honestly, I think it was a good. I think the fact that Invincible was able to have an actual ending, I think, is really good. Though it didn't go the way of.
Wasn't aware that Kirkman had it in him to actually end something.
Exactly, which is why I'm so glad that he was able to end it. Because I had stopped reading Invincible after something had happened to him.
Yeah.
And I wasn't reading it for a while, and then there's like, oh, I'm going to end it with issue, I think it was like 144 or something. And I was like, okay, you got me. I'll read the rest of it. And then I read the rest of it. I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then it ramped up to this finale, and I'm like, okay, you know what? It was a solid series with some weird ass shit in the middle of it, but you know, I enjoyed it overall. So it's one of my favorite runs of any kind of character that isn't a specific Marvel or DC character. So.
Yeah, and I mean, the way I described Invincible to people who've never heard of it is it's Superman by way of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's and then gets really, really strange as it progresses.
And really, really bloody.
Oh, it's incredibly bloody. Yeah. That's my favorite thing about reading The Amazing Spider-Man right now, because it's the same artist, so the back of my head's like, this is one that's going to get really bloody all of a sudden, because that part of my mind still thinks the same thing about that artist.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. So well, it did for like maybe one issue at best, but it's like I keep expecting it.
All right, well, I think that's the best of 2018.
Yeah.
We've been talking for quite a while.
Yeah.
I apologize to both of you. I didn't actually realize it would take this long.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Hopefully, I don't have to apologize to you listeners. Hopefully, you enjoyed all of this and everything that we've talked about. So thank you for listening. As always, you can find our show on YouTube. You can go to bit.ly/Geek Bombast. That's all lowercase, Geek Bombast, to go directly to the YouTube page until we can get enough subscribers to actually change the YouTube page name to something that is actually usable, and not like YouTube / and a bunch of numbers and letters, which is what it is right now.
Yeah.
So if you haven't subscribed, please do, because more people subscribe, the more we can, the quicker we can actually fix that, so that it is just go to youtube.com/Geek Bombast, or whatever. And then, you can find us on iTunes, you can find us on Stitcher, you can find us on Spotify. We're on, I'm trying to think of any other places that we're on. We're probably on a few other places. I don't know. And
we're on your fridge.
Yeah. But as far as if you want to post what you thought was the best of 2018, where you disagree with us, and maybe you just want to say, oh, well, I disagree with you guys. You guys had great lists, or maybe we didn't have great lists. Here's what I thought the best of these categories were. Feel free to go to our YouTube channel for this specific episode, and post in the comments of that, or feel free to go to our Facebook, which is facebook.com/Geek Bombast. Find the post for this episode and put it in there, and we'll take a look at that. And then you can also tweet at us on Twitter @Geek Bombast, or if you want to go to Instagram, you can. I don't know why you. That sounds really bad the way I said that. I meant not to
Instagram motherfucker person.
Well, I want you to go to Instagram. You can see pictures of stuff. I post pictures occasionally on Instagram of stuff that we do. Usually the episode images. I'm not saying go there to post what you thought the best of 2018 was, but you can subscribe to us on Instagram. You get pictures of stupid stuff that you get the episode images along with other pictures. I put a picture of my dog on there. My dog is technically on there twice, because she was also in a cover image for one of our episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Because she would not stop barking throughout an episode. Or
She's
wolfing. But I think that's everything. You can also email us, geekbombast@gmail.com. I almost forgot the email. I knew I was forgetting something. I was buying time for something.
But busy talking crap about Instagram.
But having said all that, I'm John Sitton.
I'm Nick Budd.
I'm Mike Rios.
And we're out.